Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. After yesterday's big bounce back for North American markets, we're seeing futures back in positive territory. Once again, this morning, I should say, we are looking at positive numbers right across the board, including cryptocurrency markets back in positive territory after the roller coaster that we saw over Wednesday and Thursday. We had the Dow up 186 on Thursday, the S&P and the NASDAQ gained 1.06 and 1.7% respectively. We did have a little bit of a move to the downside in crypto land yesterday after the U.S. Treasury came out saying that they're going to ask the IRS to look into some transactions in the U.S. regarding cryptocurrencies. We'll talk about that a little bit coming up here. Meanwhile, a pandemic low for weekly jobless claims yesterday had sentiment moving higher as well. So we had the lowest weekly jobless claims number since March 14th of 2020. So moving in the right direction. Individually this morning, Home Depot shares on watch. They announced a big share buyback aftermarket yesterday. We'll have a look at that. Recent addition, Oatly, back on watch this morning as well, actively traded in the pre-market here. And Virgin Galactic as well, trying to make it 2 days in a row. It's Friday, May 21st, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. As I said, positive numbers right across the board, pretty much. Ethereum going negative, but everything else looking good. You can see the Dow back to the upside, leading the way so far for U.S. equities, 0.4. We have the NASDAQ about the same, 0.37 there. The TSX futures here in Toronto, about 0.25%. Bitcoin up 2. Crude oil bouncing back after 3 straight days to the downside as well, up 1.8% to start things off for a Friday. Good morning, guys. It is Friday morning. We made it through another week. It is going to be an interesting one here. We are trying to hold some of those gains that we saw yesterday. A nice bounce back day for markets yesterday. We'll see how things pan out here, though. There's individual names obviously to talk about, but nothing standing out right off the bat as leading the way for us.
Well, yeah, I mean, welcome. We have made it through the week, and there's a few names that we're going to definitely be watching. I actually just saw Coinbase pull back like $3 off of 39 top, so I was looking at 240 there, but there are some names that look pretty strong. Obviously, we talked a little bit about Home Depot. There was some news on Snapchat yesterday that had that stock rallying. I'm going to be watching some movers from yesterday's action. One of them is going to be that U1, not U1K, so we'll be active in this particular name. It's been a pretty flat, despite the fact that it's up, it's pretty flat with the futures so far this morning. So you want to stick to the movers. That's why we're here. Find the actionable trades. That's what we're all about. And sending some positive thoughts to John Tavares. That was, I didn't catch the game because I went to sleep early, ridiculously early, and I saw the highlights and was pretty scared by that. I think the Leafs pulled through, Sean, but that was, you never want to see that happen in sports, but those guys put their bodies on the line.
Yeah, that happens. A big hit to our captain there. So, but whatever. The Maple Leafs will be back. They're way too talented to, at least not make a series of this. So, but okay, back over to stock. Yeah, I was looking at Coinbase as well. We put up the sticky note. Big success yesterday with the sticky note. Thank you guys. We'll keep doing it. If we get 100 likes, we'll keep doing that. Palantir going to be on watch today. Coinbase, I like that 240 level. AMC also looking at 13 today. That's about it. I mean, my big trade's going to be looking at Ford and just wait to see what it does. I mean, Ford's been a stock that, and maybe we could talk to Mark Roberts about this, but our last buy was down here. We were buying it in the 6s and 7 range, and I really, really like Ford for its longer-term perspective prospects, and let's just wait to see what happens there. As soon as they get this chip thing sorted out, everything will be good to go, but we're all happy. It's already 22 degrees Celsius here in balmy Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and high today of 30. So glad we're inside with some air conditioner, Brendan.
Yeah, going to be one of those sticky days here in Toronto. Not that we're complaining. It's been a pretty wet and cold spring so far, so we will take it. Let's kick things off by heading over to the desk and saying good morning to Miss V.
Good morning and happy Friday, guys. I wish you all to finish this week in a positive territory, and I wish to us to get as many likes as possible. So please click the like button and let's get it started, Brendan.
Let's indeed get it started, guys. Kick things off with a look here at some of these cryptocurrencies. Possibly, we had a nice bounce back day yesterday. We did get that move to the downside halfway through the afternoon. As we said, the Treasury Department calling on stricter guidelines is the actual language they used from the IRS when it comes to transactions around cryptocurrencies in general, not really singling out any specific one, but we did see things stabilize again after that news came out.
Well, I think that's where the real story is, Brendan, is exactly what you just said, that keyword stabilization, because like now it's calmed down. Like yesterday was really surprised, yesterday's range. I mean, sure, it's a big range when you look at it from a percentage wise. Like, we topped out at almost 3,000 and bottomed out at 2,600. So there still is, 10% worth of range or a little bit more than that in that, but nothing like what we experienced. I don't even remember what day it was. Was it Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when we dipped all the way down May 19th? So today's, Wednesday. So, let's just keep a watch on Ethereum. The other point about this was, and I don't know where my Bitcoin chart went, but I'll have to find that, was that Bitcoin is actually, here it is here. Where'd it go? There it is. Bitcoin was, stronger right now, or is, I should say, stronger. Look at the 3-minute chart. That was a 3-minute chart of Ethereum. You look at Bitcoin right now and actually made a little bit of a better comeback since these bottoms than Ethereum has. So let's wait to see. You could see Ethereum kind of barcoding, Bitcoin kind of heading back up. So, I mean, we still have 42,000 we touched yesterday, and Bitcoin dropped down again. Like, we're in a volatile time now, obviously, for coins. There's going to be people questioning the validity of them, as they always have. Those kind of drops scare people away from the market. And again, I just think the same thing is true, Neil, that, the more you think about crypto, the more you got to have your plan. And if you're going to be a trader of crypto, great. If you want to hold it, then these things really shouldn't scare you. But have a longer term plan. And then if this is too much volatility for you, then just pair some off. Like, you haven't really lost any money unless you were buying at the top. So if you've been an investor in Bitcoin and right now you're kind of like, I wonder if we're at that frothy level because of some of those dips, then you can always pair off, right?
Exactly, and that goes with the equities too. I think we sort of talk about that from time to time, and you understand your allocation is across the board. And if you're in some of those equities, you have to watch out for that as well. I mean, you pointed out Ethereum to Bitcoin there in the recovery. I'm just going to pull up Doge because people talk about the volatility in Bitcoin, but the difference is, and you go to Doge, on that Wednesday, you did have the recent high, which was at 43, and then the dip down. There was an attempt to retake it, and then that has failed, and we're stabilizing below that level. And Bitcoin is pretty much not the opposite, but that previous high that got put in, that was at 4,100 level, that actually got breached, and now we're basically holding that particular level. So that's the relative strength. Or stability, for lack of a better word. I mean, obviously, when you go from 4,000 to 3,000 in a matter of minutes, then people are not going to call it stability. But relative to some of the other names in space, I think that's what we're talking about here. And look, we're going to be probably trading. Well, I shouldn't say probably. Almost certainly going to be trading some Coinbase today. So you keep an eye out on what's going to happen in that particular name. It's interesting because when that news came out, I mean, Coinbase was a great long yesterday. There's simply no question about it, how good the longs were, especially buying those dips. And then it was just like the bid completely dropped, and it waited right until morning support before finding anything, then eventually breaking it, only to come all the way back. So I love the fact that you recover, and not just recover back to the price where it dropped when the IRS came with that story, but you're now gapping above that price. So suddenly that same 235, when that story broke, looks like the pre-market floor. And that's what I really liked about that. Well, I shouldn't say liked, because you can still get it. Like about that 240 break. Obviously, you have a double top at 39 here, but we like round numbers.
Definitely. Doesn't matter what you're looking at. We like round numbers. Let's bring in Mark Roberts here, president of Sun Lake Strategies, and get his take on a Friday morning. Good morning, Mark. We made it through another week. It's a hot and sticky one here in Toronto. How are things where you are this morning?
We're waiting for 88 degrees again, and summer is here 2/3 of every week. So I'm not sure where the spring disappeared.
Yeah, it's funny. Neil and I were talking before we came on this morning. It's like somebody flips the switch and it just immediately goes from spring to summer. We got, I think, 2 weeks of spring this year, and that was about it. Let's discuss this market. I mean, we came in this morning kind of. It's an uncertain feeling a little bit. We are kind of stabilizing over the past couple of days with the volatility. From a higher perspective, there's still that positivity surrounding things reopening and economies getting back to normal, kind of overshadowing the inflation fears. But what are your thoughts here on the overall market heading into a Friday?
I'm still cautious. A lot of wealth managers have a tremendous amount of stock. Dollars available to buy. I'm seeing underlying bids. I'm not seeing managers reaching and grabbing offerings. This morning I've been watching quite a few stocks. They've gapped up a little bit, $1, $2, $3, only to slip back. I think people will be squaring off their books today. It's Friday. I don't see the fiscal or monetary stories changing much for the weekend, and all we do is grope that there's a ceasefire that stays more than 24 hours with Israel and Palestine.
Agreed. Definitely an unfortunate situation that continues. Let's discuss some of these opportunities or potential opportunities this morning. As far as volume is concerned, I think it's important for people to understand the difference between a summer market environment and the rest of the year, because it is very different. So we have to be sure things that we're looking at on a daily basis this time of year actually has some follow through.
Yeah, I think a lot of it also depends on what day of the week, what time of the day. This is where you don't grab offerings as quickly because liquidity can easily dry up. Number of people I know are on vacation this week into early next week. And obviously with the holiday next week in the US, this is going to be a strange next 4 or 5 days of trading.
Let's talk a little bit about some reopening stocks. We got some reopening plans from the cruise lines aftermarket yesterday. I mean, the other RCL and Norwegian already out with theirs. But are we getting to a point with this group where we're finally starting to see some positive momentum and things moving in the right direction?
Yeah, I think at least for Americans, and I'm not sure about Canadians, but for Americans, it's going to be a question of where your comfort level is. Going out to a outdoor dinner party or meeting friends for a drink outdoors, for those that were quarantined, or I should say locked up from the fact of not wanting to be near others because fear of the virus, that's opened up tremendously. But getting people into a sporting event, I don't know. Where 10 or 15,000 out of 20,000 seats will be taken in an event, it would be hard for me to get into that.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Be patient. I think things, are slowly moving, as we said, in the right direction, but going to take some time. We'll talk a little earnings. Deere out with their report. I mean, this is a big blue chip stock. It is struggling a little bit, it looks like, in the pre-market here this morning. What were your thoughts on that report?
It's very bullish for the farm machinery companies. These are stocks that should be in the portfolio. Likewise, a Caterpillar in the mining area. They're just solid companies that will get through thick and thin and will eventually expand far greater than they are now. These are winners.
It's tough when you report at the end of a reporting season, but then you add on the fact that as we said, we're getting into the summer months and attention is maybe elsewhere at this point, especially on a beautiful Friday. So Foot Locker was the other big one today. Give us your take on that.
Yeah, as I put out in my notes, Nike has their issues with China, but Foot Locker, Dick's Sporting Goods, DKS, some of the others, these accessory sneaker companies, shoe companies are a home run. I saw this morning VFC had disappointing earnings, but there's very few that have disappointed in that space so far. So I still see winners here.
Hey, Mark, thank you for joining us once again today, and great talk there about Deere. I do want to get to AMAT, but I want to look at Deere one more time because the run that's been on, and you said that, I mean, I agree with you. Some of these companies, Caterpillar, Deere, especially if you don't have any exposure to agriculture, things like that, amazing. But this, I think you can see my screen. Look at this move, Mark, from last May, right, 126. Up to 360, 370. We'll probably get a 370, 365 print today. So that's like, let's call it a triple. Okay, so a triple in a year. Are we still putting money to work? I mean, I know there's the China story, there's US on the rebound, people need farming equipment, so on and so forth. And I just want to appreciate your opinion. I heard it with Brendan again, but do we not think that sometimes we look at stock, and I know that part of it is not worrying about where we've come from and where we're going. And I think that might be the story with Deere. We're below the 50-period moving average. Do you still, now that we've seen this kind of a move up, are we still pretty, let's not say maybe not bullish on the name, but just a name that you'd want to have exposure to? Like, where do you sort of rate this as a must buy or a hold? Or if you could put a rating on a stock like Deere, where would you have that right now based on this move?
So I'm looking at things a little differently. One, I look at a 5-year, very important, on a weekly. Two, I look where analysts are. And if they're 20 to 30% above pullback prices, that's a home run for me. And I'm finding a tremendous amount of stocks. So you're getting roughly the 12-month target is 392. You're at 360. But you have a lot of managers, or I should say strategists out there, looking for 400 to 420 in this stock in the next 6 to 12 months. So for me, a pullback is a home run.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, because there's the pullback right there. And this is good. I just called up a weekly chart. So this is the 5-year. This is 2016 down here, basically not doing anything. What a great opportunity that would have been down here. And then let alone last March. I mean, everything was popping, I guess, 2 Marches ago, if you were able to get bottoms there. The note that you gave us, I believe the stock that we want to talk about today is going to be AMAT. Let me move this. Oh, God, now this chart is frozen. Hold on a second, Mr. Roberts. There we go. Okay, AMAT. What a great quarter, I guess, yesterday. And it doesn't seem like it wants to move too much here in the pre-market. Down, actually, now. We're not. Oh, God, my chart's going to freeze up here. Oh, God. Okay, let's just talk about AMAT here. Hopefully it works out okay. The numbers that you gave us and that they reported as well, 24% year-over-year sales, EPS plus 42% on a big beat. What's your thoughts here on AMAT, Mark?
I think the stock's got room to 160, 170. It's getting into a whole new arena for artificial intelligence. It's a great clean tech energy name. This to me is a buy if there's any weakness in here today, which is what I'm hoping. Maybe it gets down to 128, 129, and I'll try to pick some stock up.
What's your opinion on stock that don't really give forward guidance? They gave small guidance. AMAT talking a little bit about their what they're looking for the DRAM, what they're looking for moving forward. Foot Locker didn't give much guidance. Is that a problem for us as investors, or is that just companies being a little more cautious and don't want to sort of guide investors like us down the wrong path? Like, what's your opinion? Some companies I'm noticing now, and I apologize, they don't have the stats, but some companies are not reporting forward guidance. What's your opinion on that? Do we take that as a negative?
I take it as a caution flag always, especially this late in the move as far as COVID and the vaccine. But maybe you give them another quarter. It is a semiconductor stock. But you're right. If you're outside of the technology space and you're not giving guidance, that's not a good sign.
So Foot Locker or Nike, if you could get money in right now, because Foot Locker today obviously up that 1.54%. I like Foot Locker for the exact reason that you mentioned with Brendan, the lack of Chinese exposure. I mean, right now we've seen Alibaba be getting hit, some 10-cent properties hit as well. JD, Baidu. I mean, a lot of these Chinese names are well off where I believe they should be, and I think a lot of that is and we don't talk too many politics on the show, but it's politics, I believe, anyways, with China, U.S. relations, things like that. Foot Locker here, basically, close to 52-week highs at $60, $61, $66. If we call up Nike right now, let's just have a quick look so our viewers and myself can have a look at where we are with Nike. Almost a completely different looking chart here, Mark, than Foot Locker. Foot Locker straight up. Nike right now struggling to go. If we could put new money to work, where would you put it?
Definitely Foot Locker. I'm still concerned about that political ramification.
Yeah, me too. I've been recommending, I put some money in Alibaba recently, and that hasn't been, although I don't think it's been too bad. If there's, okay, yeah, actually it was not bad. Of any name, I like Alibaba just because of the exposure to everything technology. But look at this. I mean, this has been a nasty run too. You could have put your money almost anywhere else and you'd be doing okay. Any other names that maybe we haven't talked about that you want to indicate to some of our viewers or anything that you're looking at, Mark?
The problem is I've got a list of about 40 of them.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Okay, you know what? Let's go over one more name here, Mr. Slootman and Snowflake. So he was responsible for ServiceNow. We've seen what that stock has done. That's a monster from its IPO, where it is today. Snowflake right here. I've been liking Snowflake. I liked it below 200. I was not able to pull the trigger. I don't know why. We're now busting out through this 50-period moving average. Obviously a recent IPO. Everything data these days seems to be maybe back in play. We call them the wood stocks. They're showing up again. Palantir's back over 20. Snowflake now back above its 50-period moving average. This is a name that I like to get in above this 243. Am I crazy chasing growth here instead of value, or what's your opinion on maybe these wood stocks or even Snowflake independently?
If it was Snowflake, you've got to give yourself room to 220. That's a big move for day traders.
Yeah.
That's 11 points because you're sort of starting to create a mini flag in the last few days. On the upside, probably want to see it break through 238, 239.
Yeah.
I'd be completely neutral right here.
Yeah, that was my problem. Was I was basically trying to see how it would fall down, but now we're sort of in this channel. Maybe I put that one a little bit too low, but that's 243 on a breakout. I know you and I like to play clusters, and that's not a bad one. If you go all the way back to September of 2020, basically 240s held pretty good. We get a crazy break up to 400 there and a fall back to 183. So yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of this is going to be how you think what the market's going or where we're going with the market. People say sell in May and go away. You think the summer is going to be relatively sideways, Mark?
I would say fairly sideways, and volume will dry up in periods of time, and that will be a problem.
Mr. Robert, Sun Lake Strategies, always a pleasure, and I hope you enjoy your weekend. I mean, I don't know what the weather is going to be like where you are, but we often get very similar, and today we're already 22 degrees Celsius. I know you heard that in the morning. Stay cool, stay dry, stay refreshed, my friend, and we'll check you on Monday. Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
Great. Thank you so much.
Ciao.
All right, guys, let's get into upgrades and downgrades here. A number of interesting ones on here again. This one on the watch list for the second day in a row. Virgin Galactic, yeah, back in positive territory here this morning. AT&T as well with an upgrade today after that big move down earlier in the week. Boeing up here, up 1%, catching an upgrade. There's Cisco. We talked about that earlier in the week with earnings. And this Skills, guys, downgraded, but higher so far.
Yes, and one of them, Boeing there, making a little bit of a comeback after, what's been like the last couple of months has been a pullback off of this like 275 area top, bouncing off 220. Needs to get through like this and hold this 230 level, which looks really good if we can end out the week doing that. Of course, it's impossible to ignore Virgin Galactic there, the test flight tomorrow. So yeah, give them the upgrade, price target 36. Stick your neck out. Hopefully that test goes well. I mean, I certainly do. I don't know that that's the bet I'll be making on the shares today. We'll talk a little bit about Virgin Galactic individually later on.
Yeah, I know that Boeing news was a good one. 737 MAX output planning to increase. So this is a name I could have talked to Mark Roberts about as well. I like Boeing. If you're going to be sideways, though, right now, I'm going to find out, some of these different stocks. I want to do a little bit of research. Maybe we can have a segment next week about dividend stocks, where to maybe park your money during a sideways summer. That's why I asked Mark. I'm not sure there's going to be much action here. Brendan gave an interesting stat the other day. I don't think it was on the show, but it might have been after, just about, after big moves down like that, the market does need a little bit of a cool down period. So I'm just wondering if that's something that we need to look at, because if you look at the triple Qs here, and I just like to look at NASDAQ, I just think that that's been a little more volatile. It's a little more sexy and exciting to me than the S&P. So again, look at this. It's just crazy moves down. This is the triple Qs, so we're just going to look at that because it's easier to look at from a dollar value. Down to 170 here from 240. We know what happened there. That's coronavirus. And then all the way back. And then now we're kind of just in a period of discovery. It's trying to figure out. People thought the sky was falling just a couple days ago, and now we're right back above the 50-period moving average again, which I like. So we haven't spent that much time below. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 areas below the 50 period and so much time above it. So let's see if it settles down. I don't know if we break 340 even until September, believe it or not. I know this is crazy on the triple Qs. We may not get back there. And at the same time, I don't know if we break 310. So we could be in this little 10% kind of wedge here. Those are my opinions. And thank you to Mark Roberts for sharing his as well.
Yeah, overall, possibly a healthy consolidation for the market after that crazy move we saw last year, back to the upside. Let's get into what's moving around this morning, guys. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you head over to that link and sign up for our absolutely free what am I trying to say? An absolutely free watch list we send out every single morning. It's Friday. Bear with us. We'll jump into the first one here. Home Depot, guys, out aftermarket yesterday, announcing a nearly, 20 billion share repurchase program. So we had earnings, I believe it was last week for Home Depot, that were better than expected, got sold on that. But back to the upside here this morning, along with aftermarket yesterday on that news.
Just once, we got to get you to say one of those big share buybacks like 20 billion, something like. When it's big, you gotta, I don't know, spice it up a little. That's like some Canadian content right there. Another Maple Leafs fan who plays Austin Powers. You guys know who I'm talking about. I won't say his name. You can guess it. Look, Home Depot. We saw lots of fantastic earnings get sold a little bit here, and it is what it is. I mean, you saw what happened to Kohl's, but some stronger moves possibly coming as we get back to this 320 level now. Not always the best day trade in the world, and we've only done about 5,000 shares in the pre-market, which is pretty light, even for a $300 name. But you can't really ignore when you see a level like this. You go into yesterday, and this is twice testing about 320, just shy of it. You go back to the dump, let's call it that, on the 18th, and then you had a bit of a higher, lower high that got put in. That's right below that 320 mark once again. So you sort of see what I'm getting at here. Basically 320 or bust. The downside to this trade, potential trade off of the open, is you're going to already see basically a dollar spread. And this isn't the case of, it'll tighten back up. It's been sitting like this in a dollar spread, even with what little movement it has, because the volume is so low. So, Home Depot's not on my radar for a pre-market trade. But if we can actually catch the break at 9:30, something along those lines, yeah, I don't mind going for that 320 breakout at Home Depot. I mean, am I crossing up? Am I paying to 321 just to get that fill? Probably not. But if we can catch that 320, I do like that in Home Depot. Positive news and a good level to work with. All systems go.
Yeah, I was going to say that, $1.65 is not really anything too sexy for Home Depot shareholders. I don't think that's going to move the needle at all. We called this dump off earnings. We were short 326 was the call, and then it tanked off earnings. But now it's okay. It stabilized a little bit. It's still above that 50 period. Good buying opportunity down there at 313. For me, I mean, the note is in already, right? So we've already seen that note come through, and it's paid to shareholders as of June 3rd. So the news, I mean, if you want that $1.65, you can just buy it now, and then it's almost like you're buying it at just take $1.65 down. So it's like you're buying this stock basically at 317, which is, virtually, right in the middle. So whether or not you like Home Depot or not, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know why it sold off on that quarter. Well, we do know why. There was a couple things on the call, but I don't know. If you like retail, I'm just a little nervous about retail right now, guys, just because of this move that it had. I don't think we trade back to 275, but one misstep for a Target, for a Lowe's, for a Home Depot, like just a misstep. Like if they come out cautionary on anything, then the stocks move to the downside. So again, this may be a name that you could hide in over the summer, like we just talked about. So we'll do some more research. But for me, this is really a non-event. And the market, I believe, agrees, man. 5,000 shares so far traded here today with a spread of $1. So I'll be away from Home Depot today. But hey, if it starts to move, we'll be on it. Yesterday's bottom of 316 looks nice.
Let's bring in Arun here, have a look at the overall market. We are trying a little bit here to get back into interesting areas. I mean, still positive overall on the morning, Arun. One of those mornings, though, where volume a little bit on the light side. What are you looking at today?
Well, I think the story is pretty much yesterday, right? Yesterday, we got that breakout of that 41.15, and we just went nonstop. Like, if you missed that entry, you weren't able to get in at any point. At least the way I see it, it was just straight up. It was aggressive all the way until the end of the day. So what you have now is a break in the action, a pause, if anything, in volume until we decide whether we want to continue this or we want to reverse this, right? We're at an interesting area. There's a lot of action around here between this 60 to 70 area. I've got to stop here at 41.85. Or level actually at 41.85. That would be the next checkpoint. So if we can get past that, I think we can start our next leg of a move to the upside towards the 4200s. We are starting to stall a little bit again this morning after a little pause in the action towards the end of the day yesterday. So 41.85 is what I'm looking at. If we can get into the low 60s, I think you can take a shot at the potential short side action. Be careful with that though, because it is kind of, it's a little weird because the action is still strong to the upside, but there's enough overhead to want to take a shot at the short. So if you are going to go for the short with the 41.85 stop, just be careful that it is a proper setup. However you look at it, just make sure it's a proper setup to go for the short, because if this market decides to roll over, there is nothing available. See, if you took that long from 41.15 yesterday, the stop would have been about just under 4,000. Just under 4,100, sorry. It would have been just under 4,100. So given that the way it moved yesterday, if this market rolls over, there's nothing to the downside until 4,100. So there's a lot of space to go if we get a rotation here. So I'm just looking to see if I can find a short. If I can get a proper short, I'm gonna go ahead and take it with 41.85 stop. If I can't, maybe if we can get that long above 41.85, that's also available. But any trades around here, just understand that there's a lot of volume around here. There's a lot of action to keep an eye on, pretty much from 60 all the way up to 80, 85. So just be aware, you have two potential shots, breakout of 85 to the upside, or you get a short in front of it and see if you can catch some downside movement.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll catch you again on Monday. Yeah, news on NVIDIA here, guys. 4 for 1, it looks like, on the 4 for 1 stock split for NVIDIA. So big pop on volume through 600 there.
Yeah, we went long and we took a couple dollars there on it, but we went long late. Like there's nothing you can do. I've been saying this for hours and hours and years and days, ever since we've seen some of those splits with Tesla and Apple, that this was just a matter of time before NVIDIA, Google, maybe CRM, well not CRM, Shopify. CRM could have done it before. There's going to be a lot of names that are going to reverse split, guys. This is going to make NVIDIA just even more monstrous than it is. I remember when I first bought this name at $100, I was wondering if I was crazy. Now you're up to 650 or 600, and we'll rip it to the high side right now. We're long at 607.90. I just crossed in, man. Basically marketed in on this one. Crazy because it was 590. To think that I would go ahead and buy this, a little bit crazy, but let's just wait to see. We already cashed some out, so all good on the net side of things. Let's see how far this thing runs. Big time news. We called this. It just took a little while to get going. So let's wait to see. Facebook up next.
We'll see if Facebook does it. And I apologize in advance. If you can't tell, Arun uses my chart. So when I was flipping around there, the news broke and I was throwing an order out and I wanted to adjust my chart and I slid over and so you didn't see the futures anymore. I'm actually looking to buy this dip as well. We got about the same price, probably punched in when we saw the news. I mean, it is what it is. If it gets to like a 605, I think that could be an area for a bit of a reload here on NVIDIA. I'm happy about this move. I haven't checked to see what else is going on in the sector, but clearly a nice little move for NVIDIA. It's going to be on watch, but we should check what the other semis just did. I mean, it was going to be all over AMAT today. That might have changed.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this entire group. I'll show you this headline as well, guys. It looks like July 20 going to be the first day of trade on a split adjusted basis. So mark that down on your calendars. July 20 for NVIDIA. So there you go. Big mover, going to be interesting as we head towards the open here. Let's go to space. Virgin Galactic, another day, another active pre-market here after the move we saw to the downside, and then back higher, obviously, on that news that their test flight is coming very quickly here.
Tomorrow. Well, I should stop chuckling. Look, we were trading this one yesterday, and there was obviously a level here that we were able to work off of. And you get a gap up like this in a stock which has been sold off. And look, you had not a huge drop, but a pretty large drop off of 2160 before absolutely bottoming out that day. It was at 14, gap down. I mean, recovering to like $18. It was a crazy bottom that got put in. So when you get the news, all that happened is it kept pushing back and delaying and delaying and delaying. You knew this flight was coming, and then they said they finally scheduled it. So, I mean, is it positive for them? Somewhat, but I mean, you knew it was coming at some point. Goes right into the obvious resistance point and dies. Now, I'm gonna like the short. I'm probably gonna have one before this, but I'm gonna like the short if we go back to that same price. But you got to consider everyone is looking at that 2150 to 22 area and saying, "Oh my goodness, look how good of a short that was before. I'm taking that again. I gotta have that. I missed out on it yesterday, whatever it might have been. Sorry, I just bought a little dip there. I want to see if I could get a quick little scalp of a buck or two out of Nvidia as well while I'm doing this, but can I get that short again? And we can all see that level, and everyone is going to be trying to catch it. So I'd probably use less shares or have a definite tight stop if it gets to that price. First things first, it would have to get there in the first place, and it's having some trouble doing so. So if we do test any kind of push, similar setup to yesterday, if we get a bit of a push into the high of the day that immediately fails, I'll try to take that same trade off of the open. And it doesn't really, it's a 2080 high. Maybe it's a 60, maybe it's 65. You're kind of playing it a little bit by ear here as it pops up into that level at 930, but that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, I didn't really. I mean, it's on the watch. It's on the sticky note here. Space long through 2080. That's just the high. It's at the top there. That's just, and you can find that on Twitter as well. That's just the high right now. Basically 2080, 2070. You can see from yesterday's movement, and basically what I was trying to say, and what I did say on the note there, was that it was just a nice recovery from yesterday. You know, they came up with that report. We talked about that being up 20% and how that was a little bit of a joke. I thought, anyways, 22%. It does get faded in. We short 20s. That was a great trade. It was bottoming out at 1930. You guys remember that? And then it waited until break, and then went to 1875. And then this is what I'm talking about. Although the NASDAQ did rebound, this was a nice rebound as well. So a nice little rebound to the high side there. And then a $20.16 break. So I just like the recovery in space. I still think it's way high, and it shouldn't be this high right now. But hey, if the momentum's going to be there, you have 2080 right here yesterday. So let's play a break of 2080 to the upside on SPCE. I like that, and you can hold it back to 20. I mean, even lower than that, like 1980 maybe on a break. So I think $1 worth of downside. If we can get long in 20s, we'll probably try to do that. But let's see if we can play momentum through 2080 off the open. My Nvidia is just doing the same thing. It's just doing nothing right now. We're able to get out. I mean, some of my outs there, 608.80 was my out. So not bad on my first in. So 608.80 were the two outs there. Oh, actually, one was a little bit higher than that, I guess. 609 something, one of those outs. So anyways, Nvidia is going to be the story right now. Let's just continue to watch it. But space also needs to be looked at for sure, especially with the volume. Nvidia volume just picking up now, but space already 1.2 million shares, guys.
All right, let's go to Foot Locker here. We spoke briefly with Mark about it. We'll touch a little more in depth on the earnings report. Up, yeah, it's up in the pre-market, but another one not really terribly active. They did post decent numbers right across the board, both top and bottom lines, but they did not provide any guidance. So we saw everyone else, it seems, in the retail space specifically, beat top and bottom lines and guide, typically higher, and get sold. So here's Foot Locker, guys. No guidance, but higher.
If you don't guide, they can't sell you. I mean, that obviously doesn't actually make a ton of sense there, but it doesn't really make a difference. It tends to be true, at least for this week it's been. Look, you look at the chart, I mean, we've already seen this, and bouncing off the 5th period and looking at like a fantastic trend, yada, yada, yada. That's all well and good. But so, I mean, pre-market, it's not a ton of volume, so I don't love breakouts on low volume names. You look at one level, which I think will be a little bit of resistance when you get to this like 63. That's going to be the pre-market high going back. It was a lower high on the way back in. I don't think you necessarily want to wait for that. I'm looking right towards this level here. Now, it feels like it might want to sell off at the open. So in case that's what happens, I look at this like 61. We're going into yesterday, the day before earnings here. You had a bit of a bottom. If it tries to flush and bounces off of 60 even, as long as we don't break 60, I'd then be looking for a 61 break to the upside. This is for sure. Foot Locker is a stock that I'm only trading after the open. I'm not catching this one in the pre-market. No way. It's just too light on volume. There might be something there after the open, but with attention already going into NVIDIA, and I'm also looking at Coinbase here and a couple of other names. I mean, I'm still staring at that U1, which might have shaken me out there. It's hard to think Foot Locker is going to be one that's going to be guaranteed in that 930 range. But if it gives that setup where it bounces and holds 60 and gives you a retake of that 61, I mean, the long can be okay with it. I just much prefer to focus on NVIDIA and look at some of the other names in the space in case there was any sympathy moves.
Yeah, Foot Locker to me, it's only 76,000 shares. I talked about it with Mark there, and it's not, for me, it's not, there's nothing in it. A 20-minute chart doesn't really give me too much of anything. This pre-market's done just back and forth. I mean, if we had beat, or if we had beaten, we were still near this 59, and we could maybe play a 60 break, something like that. But this has been a good bottom 59. Goes just on the week. This is just a week, so goes back there 59, 58, and change yesterday. So Foot Locker today for me is a pass.
All right, let's go to Oatly. We saw the debut of OTLY on the NASDAQ yesterday. There's big names behind this, Oprah, Jay-Z, to name a few. And big money as well supporting this company, Swedish-based company. They make vegan products right across the board in the food space. But up nicely here, 6.4% today, guys, after a bit of a choppy start yesterday.
We can't hold them, or else you'd have diamond hands on this one, because yesterday, if you guys joined us at the 3 o'clock show, our afternoon show, you know the kind of destruction that was had here. I just kept going long in front of this 20, and 20 held. I mean, we were watching it live on the show, so we'll try to do that today again if we see some more opportunities on Oatly. So it came back down. The IPO, the first hour or so, relatively uneventful. I mean, we open up, I guess it was 21.50, so that's right where we are today. So far nobody's making any money on this name unless you traded it yesterday. So Oatly rips up about $1, falls back down, rips up to that level again. So if you're going to look at anything today, I think it's this 22.50 level, just in case it gets excited to hear. 22.50 is something to look at there for Oatly. So that's a level. Or if we fall back down, I mean, it's just yesterday, and that's all that we wrote down. I said, is it going to hold 20 again, the second name there? I don't think we get down there, but hey, look. When you're at 22.50 yesterday, I didn't think we were going to get back down to 20 either. So maybe we get back down here. We'll watch it. Of course, we'll go long in front of that level. If it breaks, we're out. It's about as easy as it can get on this name. It's way, way overvalued. They sell like 10% of what White Wave sold, and White Wave was bought for like a tenth of the price. So the valuation on this is way overblown. There's no way I could recommend this as a buy, but for a day trade, you're already doing 400,000 shares. Not great, but not bad. $22, we'll watch that level as well. So 22.50 is really the one that I'm gonna look at here, and then hope and pray it comes back down to 20.
So yeah, I mean, I tried this setup here on this is an IPO, and the direct listing is a Squarespace, but these are two different names. So back into yesterday's highs, the only levels you can work off of. That's obviously a short that I'm going to like. So I'm going to try it again. I tried it in Squarespace and it did not work, but it's clearly a different name, different value of a company, and certainly I think it's a better one. There's conspiracy theories out there. I'm not going to get into them with Oatly, but if it does pop in, I'm unlikely to just sit there and just slam into shares at a random price. I want to see it move into that high and then try to catch it on the way back down. I think the liquidity is going to be okay. Just based on what I'm seeing in the pre-market here, and already there's a few decent offers that might mean it doesn't quite get to that price. So you kind of have to think about some places where it could break down. I did write down a 20.75 below that 21. Like if there's a break of that level, maybe you retest that 20 low. So I'm probably only shorting Oatly today. My mind could be changed from, I suppose, momentum standpoint, but if it gets to that high, much like Squarespace, I'll put the short on. It didn't work in Squarespace, but I had to stop, so we limited the loss there. I'll try again with Oatly.
Speaking of Squarespace, let's have a look. We had an impressive move back higher yesterday. Retook the entire first day's range back yesterday and then some, basically closing at day highs. The interesting numbers that I saw about this Squarespace is their direct competitors are Wix.com and GoDaddy. Both of those are in the kind of $13 to $14 billion market cap range. This one, as of yesterday's close, guys, $6.5 billion. So, I mean, possibly somebody realized that yesterday, and this thing got bought up in a big way.
I think it had a little bit more. I mean, it's a direct listing. I think that was the insiders that wanted to sell got it all out of the way pretty early. That's probably the case that I would make, because these were ridiculously strong moves, and it wasn't so much that there was a crazy volume spikes on any of these breaks. And I'm talking about, I mean, I wasn't involved in the 45 one, not the 46, but it wasn't a crazy volume spike, and it was the same thing when it broke 49 in the after hour show. It did extend, and when it took out the high at 50, that's where the volume started to come in. But now you're gapping above that 50 level, which is a pretty strong sign here. And it could be both things. I mean, there was just a lack of an offer. Like, no one was selling, through those levels. The level would break where there was a consolidation or a sell, like at the 50 level, at that 45 and 46 levels earlier, and there would just be no one standing in the way of the move. If that's the case today, I mean, you want to be on that long side. Now, I like this 48. For a bit of a dip. I mean, 46, 50, 47 stands out as well, but I like that 48 for a bit of a dip, but we're holding 50 for the time being. It's hard to ignore. That was the reference price. Certainly that's a pre-market low basically right now. That's where we close in yesterday's price action. So that's the price that I'll look to defend first. And if you catch a breakout, you have an obvious stop at 50. And if you still like it, you can do a dip buy at 48. So there's lots of actionable levels to go long in Squarespace today.
You know what I was actually, so I just have a Squarespace 20-minute chart here. It's on 4,000 shares, so I say, screw you, Squarespace. I'm not interested in that name. The one name that I was looking at here that I was actually just thinking about could make an announcement similar to NVIDIA. Netflix, guys. Netflix has been doing absolutely nothing for a year. If you've been in this name since last July, like, good luck on that. This has been a pathetic stock. I'm not in it. The funny thing about Netflix, I was in this name at $60, and I believe I got nervous and sold it like at $60. This is when it basically when it first came out, and then that's why I've held Spotify, because I sort of thought that Spotify was kind of like the next Netflix but for audio, and that one's been correct. So thank God I held that one since IPO. But anyways, Netflix, look at this. This is what I'm talking about. You want to get your stock going? Why not do a reverse split? So I'm thinking right now, or just sorry, not reverse split, the other way, a stock split, because $400, $500, like, this has just basically been absolutely dead money. So if you want to take a shot, ooh, I'm on the wrong thing here. I'm on, this, I got to be on this arrow. If you want to take a shot on a stock that may be the next thing to announce it, that's not the reason to buy Netflix. I was just looking at this, and I dropped names like Google's just doing so well, obviously. So was NVIDIA. But just in that theory there, we talked about it. I could find tweets from months and months ago when Apple and Tesla were talking about that. NVIDIA was one of the top names on my watch. That's why I yelled out Facebook. But I also think Netflix could be one of those ones. I mean, imagine if Netflix or Facebook, like, how much better is Facebook? If Facebook goes 10-1 down and this becomes a $32 stock, that stock goes to $50 really quick. So that's why I think that a lot of these names could be splitting as well. Just put that in your cap and see where we are about a year from now. But those are just some ideas of why I think some of these big cap techs need to be bull cases right now.
I just want to come back before we go to the next name here, guys. That NVIDIA, it's been pretty solid, bouncing off that 605. So I had to, like, you talked about, like, that dip buy as I was talking about another stock. I'm like, we'll get a dip in front of 605. Done it once, done it twice, but the first time we got all the way up to like 0850. The second time, it basically stalling out here at 607, so it gives you like a buck and a half at absolute best. I'd be cautious here. If it breaks at 605, I'm willing to get out of the trade and look for a new one here, guys. So I know I'm going to be active on NVIDIA. Well, I think we'll be active on NVIDIA. There's never any guarantees. But certainly that news is a good one. 605, a good dip buy, probably going to be an out for me. 605.55, the latest long that I've had in it. And yes, Virgin Galactic is a bit on the move. We'll get back to that one in just a bit.
Okay, just looking at Snapchat, guys, popping up here a little bit. Once again, there's a number of headlines, if you remember yesterday in the afternoon. Snapchat had a nice move, but apparently they're buying their AR display supplier, which is called Wave Optics, for $500 million. So bringing their, display manufacturing in-house. Which could be a positive move for them. But Snap, you remember yesterday, had a nice run in the afternoon on a number of other, kind of minor headlines similar to this. But we're gapping up here again for Snapchat today.
I mean,
yes, sir.
I've liked Snapchat at 56 for a while based on the daily chart. But again, like, This is what we're talking about. We talk about, what do they say, the crypto winter's coming here in the summertime. And I just wonder if the same thing is going to be true for some of these tech stocks. This has been just bounced around here a little bit. If you can get any of these names, it's like, we'll talk about Fisker soon, but you know, to be averaged in, Fisker's up 30% in 2 weeks. Snapchat could it's not going to go up 30%, but you can see right here a beautiful bottom at 50. I just think we're stuck in the middle. This is great. I mean, bringing things in-house for your augmented reality display is great. But let's just be real here. I don't know if this is going to cause anything. It's only up 0.75%. I just like Snapchat because it's a NASDAQ name. So NASDAQ is there. I mean, it's listed on the New York, but it's a tech name that's going to start flying at some point. But I don't know. I've never had a Snapchat account. I don't know what their advertising's like, but they do have good ARPUs, revenues per user, and I like the name. I just would rather be in others. So Snapchat's good move for them. You saw what Apple did, bringing some of their chips in-house as well. So this is obviously buying a competitor, not building their own, but 500 million, I have no idea if that's a good price or not for that. Snapchat right now just remains on my radar, but probably not a day trade for me. But you know, if it breaks 58, we could look at it.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the key. Like, if it shows it wants to go, and this is the thing with volumes, guys. I mean, there's a reason why we've been focused on NVIDIA. I just got stopped out when it broke 605, and we'll probably get back to it, but there's only so many low volume names you can pick, so I'm unlikely to trade Snapchat. I mean, if it does a really big push back into like 55.50, like maybe there's a little something there. A move like that would probably get you some real volume to be able to buy a dip. Otherwise, show me that the market's going to break out from this lull that the NASDAQ's in all morning long in a 50-point range, and then maybe you'll get into one of those breaks. Some names I'll be much more interested in. You know, obviously we talked about Coinbase, NVIDIA, and looking at some of those recent IPOs and direct listings.
Okay, let's go to EV land. I was just reading Canadian retail sales data out there. Not quite as big a beat as the U.S. number we saw last week, but nice though, 4.3% versus 2.3%. expected for Canadian retail sales month over month, which is good to see. Let's talk Tesla and Fisker. Guys, we'll do both at the same time. Nothing significant as far as headlines. There's a couple of minor things for both today. Elon Musk now talking about manufacturing Teslas in Russia. Looking at that as a possible marketplace for both manufacturing and sales. And Fisker are going to make a new Pope-mobile for the Vatican.
This is an actual name for the Pope-mobile that I don't actually know, but maybe someone will say that. But anyways, I think Fisker might be the more interesting day trade today. I don't know if that's going to be true. I mean, this is Tesla we're talking about, but we just rolled off of that 600 level. Here we go. It tried to break it. I think that was our poll this morning. It tried to break it here in the pre-market and roll back below it. You did have some resistance at 95. And if this level is going to break, he's kind of looked back to that 575, which wasn't clean action. Wasn't necessarily very clean in the morning off that price, but it was pretty clean when it bounced there in the afternoon. So I kind of think that if Tesla dips into that level, you're likely to have some buyers in front of it with anticipation, like 76, 77, something along those lines. So I'll probably sit Tesla out until it gets down to that range. Or, you know, if we're breaking out at 600, maybe look at like a 605. It just feels like it's the morning. I keep talking about the chop the NASDAQ's in. It feels like it's a kind of morning not to get chopped up in that chop. That sounded horrible. But, you know, you sort of seek these ones out, wait for the levels that you really like. So if it comes down into the range, I like that 75 area in front of it for sure. If we can get above and hold that 600 bid, and then you look for a 605 break, I think that's the way I want to play Tesla today. But Fisker could be a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, Fisker, I don't know, $13. This is what I'm talking about, sick to my stomach right now because Fisker, I mean, we were last bought it at 17. And then I'll have to find out what my average price is because we were first buying it in here. So I think it's probably basically 16. So we're still out of the money on Fisker. But what a great bottom that was at 10. Like if you can't see that, I mean, that was a great one. Obviously everyone nervous that it breaks lower and lower, but good break there. I like this play today for 13 break. So we'll see. This is yesterday. This is just a 1 minute chart. We crashed through 13. So if we look at this, that was the high watermark yesterday and the pre-market was 13. It couldn't get there. If you don't like the story, me, then I don't have a problem fading that 13. That makes perfect sense. If you can get back up there to 13, even 1260, like you could start this at any spot. The news isn't that amazing for Fisker that it needs to go. I'm just wondering about, you know what, we'll check the short interest on it. But, you know, I just wonder if it can go. There's been some decent volumes picking up lately, at least a little bit on Fisker. And not great. Obviously, this was a big move up. Let's see if it can go. Not super interested as an investment until it gets back into this area, which would also be the 50 period. But it's on our watch list today. It's a looker, so we're going to wait to see what happens with that one. Just check back on. I know Neil got out of NVIDIA. That's probably a good play as it's right back to 605. I'm going to wait until 600 breaks. So when 600 breaks, we'll give it a little bit more room downside. We've just been having, you know, such great luck this month, and we'll just wait to, well, I mean, this year. Let's just wait to see if our call is right. I still think we can go higher. To me, man, 3.5% on a stock split is not enough. So I'll be wrong if I'm wrong, and it'll break through 600. But if I'm right, let's see if we can't take out the highs again here. So that's me on NVIDIA if you're just holding the bag like I am. We've already taken out about $1 and change, a little bit more than that, on our first load there. We've averaged in again at that 606. I was debating getting out at that 605 area, but nah. We're going to try to see if we can hold this for a little bit. Wow, NASDAQ just taking off there, so that's good. I have no idea what that was for, but there's a nice little spike up there. Oh, we're only 5 minutes to the bell, Brendan. Sorry, let's go.
Wow.
Continue along here real quick, guys. Let's touch on the cruise lines. Carnival out aftermarket yesterday. You can see a nice spike in the aftermarket back to 28. We got to kind of faded out at that point. They came out just announcing their restart plans for the U.S. Beginning in July. The others, RCL, NCLH, have also done the same, but going back a couple weeks ago.
So, I mean, worth noting that we don't even get back through and hold through that 28 level. So you have an immediate, I mean, right off the top, you have an immediate resistance point, and then you had that higher, this higher level up here at 28.50, which tried to break several times on the 18th and then failed. So 28 is the big level on Carnival Cruise Lines. I mean, just seeing the NASDAQ pump to the upside there, I'm kind of looking at the tech names that I want to be involved in. I thought the 5 would give me, on NVIDIA, give me a break to 601. Clearly, it hasn't dipped down there to be able to get a fill. We'll see if it does happen. But I think Carnival, the big thing is not just breaking that 28, because we've seen breakouts not work on this stock. It's can it actually, if that fails, it's can it hold back to about this 27.50? If that does, I think you look at that break the second time later on in the session.
Okay, so I just accidentally put in the wrong price for Fisker. So we went long, but again, it's a small trade. I was just going to put in a 13 break and a low 12 bid. Instead of putting 12.15, I put 12.50 in there. So I just punched long. I was going to try to wait down here for 12.15ish. That's kind of a random level. I was just going to wait in the teens. So I picked halfway through. That's that little spot right here where we kind of dropped down to. So now I'm long. It's not a big position, but we're gonna have to watch Fisker. I'm gonna put another bid down here, and we're gonna use this bottom as our out. That was always the plan. So we're gonna be stuck basically 25 cents more than I want to right now on Fisker, but it's a light position. It just means I need to double up when it comes down here. So we'll put on double the shares to make up for that mistake downside if we fall into the 12 teens on FSR. Sorry about that, Breno. Like that talk with Mark Roberts was great. We've had some good talks today. NVIDIA took some of our time, and when that NASDAQ spiked up, I was like, what's it doing? There's still like 20 minutes to open, but Brenda, only 3 minutes. Let's go.
Yeah, under. Now let's talk JZXN, another one that showed up this week as an IPO. This is a teeny tiny Chinese renewable energy auto retailer is what this company does, apparently. Up 30% here in the pre-market after getting just absolutely destroyed for the past couple of days since its IPO. So no real significant news that I can see anyways. Just broke 950 to the upside, testing actually 10 there to the upside. You can see volume coming in. It does have room to back into this consolidation, which is 1150 for this JZXN. Very, very small one though, guys.
It's very, very small. I'll quickly go through two. One, because I'm in this ENVB off of like a 295 was post-market top here. I mean, $3 is obviously a psychological level. It gave a little bit of a win down towards 280. I got some out at 278. Now I tried to pop up to 288, but I missed that one. This is sort of right at 913. We're involved in looking at other stocks. If it comes out off the open and pushes into 95 or 3 even, I'll look likely short any kind of a failure there. The other one, and I've been in and out of U1 already. I know some of you guys are watching this stock. So I got shaken out of the short of this trade. I had it at 75, got a win, then had it again at 25, got a win, had it at 41, and then another little scalp win, and never followed through. So I was trying to hold a core position short. I added into that position at 44, and then it broke the top. And if I was only scalping it out and getting all flat, it'd be much better. It then failed right here at 970, so that's the level to watch. U1 coming back in. So far it's held 9 even. If that goes, there could be a bit of a, I mean, this is where the stock has come from. Below there, you do have an 880 level that I noted in the afternoon show. If you get below that price, there's a lot of room to the downside in U1. I don't necessarily love the long. I'm not really looking for it today. I'm looking for the reversal, and 880 is an obvious price.
Okay, so NVIDIA's starting to rip. I mean, it's starting to move. We'll wait to see. It's funny because this stock is hard to look at because at 1 minute you're in the money and it's up to 607, and the very next minute it's down to 605. So we're gonna wait for an NVIDIA with only 20 seconds to go. Wow. I see who's on the bell, Miss Curly Hair over there. What's up, Miss V's gonna be on the bell in a couple seconds. They're twiddling that little mallet. So don't watch out for your head as that's gonna drop down. NVIDIA, that's basically that I'm looking at right now. So we'll see if we take out the high of 611 here on NVIDIA, guys.
The countdown is on, guys. So here we go. It's Friday. We've made it to Friday. 3, 2, and 1. Let's ring that bell. Immediately look. I was immediately going to be looking at the Virgin Galactic to see if it had any chance to spike up into that high of the day, and then I would be fading that level. Looks like it's going the other way, right to the downside. So I wanted the short on strength. It is all weakness so far in Virgin Galactic. Okay, so nice pickup on Fisker. We're long at 12.30. Look at that bid there, 12.20. I told you guys what we were trying to do, and so we're doing it and putting our money where our mouth is. So let's go with Fisker there. Now our average price 29 off that blunder of 50 early. So we talked about that one. We did exactly like we said we would. We took on double the shares down here, giving us the price that we want. So long now, 12.29, a nice little rip runner here, hopefully for Fisker as we can get back upside. We're waiting for 12.50. Checking on NVIDIA, not doing anything. We started our Palantir Love Fest already right now at 2076. We'll play the long here into 2050, guys, on Palantir. And there was a bit of a pop just now on Virgin Galactic. Now, it's not going to be the high of the day, but you get this like range right before the market opened here. 2060 is the high, so I step at the open price or just above that open price where it was at 47s, get the short 47s, risk up to 60, just scalps them out at 30. So look for the first pop that I could get to go short in Virgin Galactic. Quickly scalped it out. If I get more shares in, it's got to be off of this level here, like a little bit closer to that 60 is what I'm going to be targeting, guys. So I want to be getting like 55s if I can. If I don't get it, it just means it's sliding to the downside, which it did yesterday off of the open. So a little bit of anticipation that you could get some selling into that news. The levels remain intact. It's still range bound for the most part. And apologize because we never really got over to Coinbase too much, other than to say, look out for that 240 break. It touches 239. I mean, did it really touch 239 like this?
I'm just go long at 239.
But then it touched it to the dime and then flushed $5.
Okay, good.
So I don't know if that's a true wick because I wasn't watching the stock. If it comes back to this afternoon low, 231 on a dip is what I'll be looking for. Okay, so we just got more NVIDIA on a dip down to 600. So now it's not good. It's making a move to the downside. You know where our outs are, so it's well planned here. I am not afraid of you, NVIDIA, although I do have probably a decent amount of shares here. So let's wait to see where we go now. A break of 600. Look, I thought this news was much better than what the stock is doing. And again, we're here to trade. I'm going to try to do something that I think makes sense. This is not really my comfort level. You guys know that I normally just scalp in and out, but this one to me is worth holding. We'll wait. I guess we're not getting that high of the day anytime soon. So we're going to have to wait till we probably get flushed out here on a 600 break. I mean, NVIDIA coming right to the downside here. Not a super sexy trade, but you guys know where that one's looking right now. Good pickup there on Palantir and a decent out. So now our average price 69. That's what it was the whole time. We only got a little bit out there at 77. I'm waiting at 79 right now for Palantir. So hey, look, not a good day to be a bull right now so far as the markets come to the downside. We still are positive, but we need some stocks to work out for us. So Palantir breaking through 50, we gone, and then NVIDIA. Really funny. I wonder if there's more to this story because this should be up more, guys, than 2.8%. So that's my bad. We'll pick up some NVIDIA after the show for myself, but for right now, it looks like we're going to get stopped out on NVIDIA, guys. What's up, B?
A couple people talking about this one in the pre-market. Big pop here for this ANVS. Now 50%, $40 coming into play here. They had positive Alzheimer's treatment data, guys.
So I got my long in front of that 60, so I guess the dip did come in. Obviously, it did come in, as Sean mentioned. I thought 231, that's what I just said to you guys on Coinbase, and you're going to see 230, 250. It just bounced right into 235. That's that key level. Looks like it's holding as a bit of resistance because it broke, slammed back to the downside, so we might get that long in front of 230. But how many stocks do I want? Rebounding off of lows here, I'll probably take, I'm going to take a shot at Coinbase. What am I even talking about? You know I'm going to do it. U1 I got into, U1 I got into when it broke that 880, but that is a heck of a volume slam, and I got short at the absolute low, guys. So I don't know that that's the best entry on a stock that can squeeze on you like this. So I'm going to give it a tight berth. I'm going to give it a tight stop into $9. I'm only really risking about 25 cents plus a little bit of slippage.
Okay, so replace back with Fisker. We didn't get any more long down there. We were waiting a little bit longer, but we do have the best trade you could have right now, 1220. I'm still thinking about NVIDIA. We did load up on NVIDIA now, so we took another bid down there as well. So we're now back into the money on this stock. So let's see if now it wants to go upside. It's bouncing off that 605 right now. So we'll see if it can continue to go upside. That 605 has been pretty key. I don't want to make a mistake here and not get out, but that 605 has been a good one. Maybe we'll take out a part here and then let the rest ride. I'm not sure. Here goes NVIDIA to the upside. Thank you, Ms. V. Everything working out, man. Palantir now ripping as well. So that's a good trade here. There it goes, 60, 20, 74. NVIDIA, let's go to NVIDIA and let's go to Palantir right now too, guys.
You better believe it. I'm pretty happy with what we're seeing out of NVIDIA there. So, I mean, it gives that 600 break. Not break, but it holds that 600. We get the dip price. I got 601.50s. I took some shares out, some scalping some in front of that 5 range. I'm going to hold the rest to see if there's a bigger move. And I did get that Virgin Galactic short. I mean, I got stopped out, but then it made the test to the high of the day. And then that's the one we wanted to fade. Brendo, what's up?
Boeing just popping up, guys, through day highs here. Nice move so far. 233 at the top end, went right to 234. But 2.5% so far for Boeing.
Okay, so now we're rocking.
Same
now we're
trade.
cooking with fire, guys. Now we're cooking with fire. 605 right now to the upside. Sorry, Neil, what was that?
No, I mean, it's the same trade as yesterday in Virgin Galactic. I get stopped out when it breaks that level. It tries to go through the high of the day. It does not. And then you just short it on the way back in. That's the same setup. How that even works twice in a row is kind of dumb, but it did.
Oh man, we are just hot dog cannon time right now. This is what happens when you believe in something, believe in yourself. Bang with NVIDIA right now with a big win right here, guys. Up to 607 now. We're long at 601.50, and we're still ripping faces off. So let's go. Like, I talked this stock up. Let's go, NVIDIA. I told you this was not the right price. It should have been higher. So here we go. A big win for NVIDIA, and we loaded. So let's keep going, man. 610, next stop. Maybe we take a piece out there. Hey, if this falls back down now, I don't care. I'm having some fun. We put some money in our pocket. Let's just go. Hey, if this breaks 600, oh no, I'll have $1 hit. Let's just keep running, man. We're $7 in the money on NVDA. The good just keeps on getting better. Stop calling me, whoever's calling me. I'm doing a show. Let's go.
Well, you just not it. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, stop calling him. But I know you can just not answer. Very quickly, someone asked about UNTX. 1 to 15 reverse split, and they did have some news. It's not really moving, so I'm not going to be trading it too much. But there was a piece of news on there that might be worth bearing. There is one thing which is going against me, and it's ENVB, and I keep choking on that name because for some reason I want to say it the other way around. Pressing towards that 3 high. I haven't taken anything out since the pre-market, but this is the open look I'm always watching for. If it breaks 3, I'm getting out. That's just the way I do this trade. And then if there it is. So I get out. Oh, whoops, my math stinks. And every now and then my math stinks. I don't want the long, so I'm gonna get out of it. If it does like an immediate reversal off of this level, I'm always looking for that like retracement short trade. So it's gotten to like 308 here. That's not too strong of a push. Maybe like 310, 315. If it reverses, I'm looking to jump right into the short. Looks like a strong one. One of these that I don't reverse into the long trade, and of course it starts to go. I'm kind of holding out for 10s on NVIDIA, and then I'll get out. There's always a top break. There's always dip buys, which I think can make some sense as well.
Coffee tastes so much better when you're having a big morning, but then I guess every day it tastes pretty good then. Okay, Roblox right now, guys, $79. So let's take a look at that RBLX right now on watch. I guess again today, like an $80 break maybe for Roblox might be in tune. It's only done that once from what I can see. Oh, come on, charts. From what I can see here on the daily chart, I guess it did it. This was the same day, but broke already to 84 and then gave it back that next day. So that's where that was. But but it looks like it only broke 80 one time. It did break it right here as well. It went to 80.50, so 80 on the nose right now. Basically the high of the day there for Roblox. So we're looking at that name. It doesn't look super great on a daily chart. We've talked about that before, but for a recent IPO, it actually doesn't look bad at all. Roblox straight to the upside. I wonder what that was about. Maybe it was an upgrade or so. Okay, so right now we're waiting for Fisker to do something, man. Come on, charts. I'm in the new version, right? All the way to the upside here. Fisker back down, bouncing. We're able to take a little bit off. We're going to notice where VWAP is right now. Maybe this dream is over for Fisker because we're long now at 27s and 35. Like, that's not a big enough win, man. We're holding this all the way back down here to a break of 11.95. So we'll wait to see what's going on with that one. And I guess we should have got more out of NVIDIA as it just dropped all the way back down. So nice little celebration there off that. But yeah, we should have got more out at 608. Good. I'm glad we held
reloading,
for 607, but here it comes screaming to the downside.
I think it's probably worth a reload there. But ANVS, which I think some people were talking about, well, I knew a few guys were talking about this name, on volume off the open, halted to the upside. There was a level at 39 in the pre-market, but that got blown through. There was a decent pullback, actually, but that level got blown through. It looks like a volatility halt. 5 minutes, it'll open back up. And you go to the daily chart. This is what you have to be concerned with. I mean, I'm probably going to sit this one out unless it gets back below that 39 level. Otherwise, let's see if it gets to this 49.50. I'd probably try to fade it off of 49 or 50 area if it does gap up and then run into that price. I don't want to short that into a halt, obviously, but if it does start to turn, that's the one I'll be looking for in ANVS. So once they halt, I usually think there's a decent opportunity to get into it. We'll see if that one's going to be true. Coinbase, let's go away from the daily chart if I can for a second, is coming down into that 231 price. So this is an afternoon dip a couple of times into 230, 231. I want to be long in front of that if I can. Brendan?
A little mining company popping up. This is Hecla Mining. We talked about this a couple days ago. This day just ripped up to 8.5 or 8.75, I guess. This is all-time highs today, guys, for HL, up 4%.
Okay, we did reload NVIDIA here, so we're loaded back up again. So let's wait to see where this goes. I'm just looking at Palantir, like, look at the NASDAQ, man. We're giving it back. So Palantir, again, was fine. We're basically flat on this name right now. I mean, if it goes up, we'll be obviously nicely in the money, but we'll have to wait on that move because for right now, it's not really doing anything. It does go to 605. Our out is going to be a little bit lower than where we are here in the 40s. We talked about that in the pre-market, this 40 break down to 30. I mean, we can almost give this to 30. We don't even have that many shares. So yeah, you know what? I'm going to cancel that right now. We've actually, normally, let's cancel that. Normally, I like to go a little bit harder on Palantir right now, but the problem is the market's coming to the downside here, and I just don't know. We saw yesterday on a strong NASDAQ that Palantir really wasn't strong at all. The NASDAQ was making moves here yesterday. Palantir finishes near its highs, considering the open was its high, but you had to withstand all of this. So I don't know, man. The same thing could be happening again to Palantir. I'm going to give it to this bottom. 2030 is going to be where I'm going to get out. So we'll average in down there, so it's coming to a nice price. Maybe instead of getting out at 45 where I was going to, let's put another bid down there and see if we can average a nice little price here on Palantir. So if it goes up, great. We're only long 64, not bad. NVIDIA, Fisker, Palantir is what I'm trading right now. Give us another one, Brendo.
Roblox, guys, testing new highs here, back above recent highs. Anyway, 78 was a significant level, but big time volume coming into Roblox this morning.
Break 80? Yeah, we just talked about that.
Looks like you just did, yeah.
Yeah, it did. Okay. Yeah.
No, great look there, and thanks a lot, Brendan, because I obviously missed an opportunity on that Oatly. You saw NVIDIA was going to be front of the mind, so we're going to be trading in that name after the news. That's what you have to do. You got to prioritize as a trader, but Oatly does roll over off the high, so we've missed that opportunity. If it comes back to 22, I'll take another shot at it. The volume's pretty solid, guys. 3.3 or just over that million shares to the upside. So we're going to be involved if we can, but it's got to pop first. Pop off. Yeah, so I talked about not giving it a wide berth on U1, so I get stopped out of that short. It pops into 950. It's right back to the low. So this is getting sold on every single pop, and I'm managing to not hold on to it too much. If I take another trade, it has to be something I'm willing to give a little bit more room because U1 could drop $1. I can't be taking these like 10, 15, 20 cent stops on a stock that can really go.
Yeah, I was going to say, check sticky note here. I'm typing this into our chat here. Look what I wrote. Thanks, Brendan, for this, by the way. I just want to punch myself out here. Look what we said about Ford, right where my finger is. Ford, long off pullbacks. Okay. Okay, so maybe that doesn't make any sense. So let's just check the chart. Oh, look at this. A pullback on Ford. Pulled way back in. We should have, I mean, to be honest with you, we would have been long at the very bottom. We would have started averaging in, so we would have been long in the 60s, but now Ford taking off now. So good trade there, obviously sidelined with many other things. So Ford, hopefully you guys had that. That's a good sticky note trade right there. Yeah, Roblox heading up. We just did talk about that. There, yeah, Fisker's not rocking. That's the one stock right now that, you know, like if we were on Ford, we'd be cash money, but we're not on Ford right now. It's on our sticky note. Check the link in the chat there for that one. If this pulls back into the 60s, we're going to get longer again. We'll start it right here, though. 68, 69, yeah, maybe 66. Brendo?
A little NFT action for Friday. Hall of Fame, HOFV, big move here. 6% plus on volume as well today, guys. We're getting back into, I got to refresh my daily chart apparently, but we're getting back into this 4 area for HOFV.
So I'll go with this. The last trade, not going to work out, the reload in NVIDIA. So we tried it a couple of times, double tap in front of 6. It only goes to 05s, and I didn't take anything out of 607, which kind of looks ugly on the chart, but it breaks to 600. I mean, look, I'll tell you this right now. If this stock sniffs where this break started at 590, that's absolutely ridiculous. So that'll be another time I've gone long here. I mean, clearly the rollover short would have been okay, but I'm only going one way on this particular name today. And during all of this, I completely ignored the stock that I thought I was going to be trading in this space, AMAT. Now, obviously, it didn't do a breakout anyway, so that's probably a good thing because I would have been sitting it out. But it does do a little bit of a dip. I'll go to the 15-minute chart here, guys. It does do a little bit of a dip. I'm looking at this 126 on a pullback. It was a previous high. You got the nice move into all day yesterday into these fresh tops. If it gets down to that 126 level, I want to dip by on AMAT. We're a bit of a ways away, but thankfully distracted and not sitting around forcing a long when the breakout clearly was not there.
Yeah, really just hoping, NVIDIA just falls back down there through 97. So we're the same way, man. Out, and then we held a little small piece out there. So NVIDIA, you know, not the stock that we thought it would be today. And I just want to find out more about this story because up 2% doesn't seem that great. But look what's happening to the NASDAQ. I think that this really is the story here. You can't hold a NASDAQ flyer into this kind of a movement. We're down quite a bit here from the top. We were up about 0.5% or so. So we've given that all back now, and we broke down some of these levels. So unfortunately, you know, not looking technically at NVIDIA was not a mistake. I like NVIDIA, and I think it's going to go eventually. And this is a name that we got to pick up now because, hey, stock split is a great idea. So let's wait to see on that one. But yeah. Fading back in, NVIDIA loser. What can we do for that one? Thought it was going to be a winner, and it was, but not the big one that we thought. So that's that. Fisker now coming to the upside. We're at 4 pennies in the money. Woohoo. We still need upside on this one. I believe we can find it. So let's see if Fisker can go. AMC near 1260. Alibaba not doing much. Facebook, we can check that out. I'm just looking for some different names here that maybe
I stepped in a little bit earlier than I thought I was going to on the ANVS, and immediately I'm going to get stopped out here. So I thought the first big flush, I liked 49.50, and I sort of mentioned that to you guys. It turned at 48. Which is probably a tad early for a move like this, but I saw it come down here. I'm like, okay, that's a bit of a tight range in that 46, 47.50 range. I'll see if I can't short off of it. And then, of course, what happens? You break a minor rule, and I like the setup, but sometimes you wait for the perfect price. I didn't do that here, so we'll take the hit on ANVS. See if it doesn't make that move into 50 anyways. Ideally, I can put that halt trade on if it actually halts to the upside. But if I got the top here, well, I mean, I'm not going to be the top wick, but if I missed the top here, you kind of have to walk away from the stock and not have too many regrets simply because it didn't give me the ideal entry point, so I had to put a tight stop on it. So if I missed out on it, it is what it is. If it breaks this 46 definitively, which is trying to do here, you look back to that halt price, that 42.50 initially on the way up, I think that could turn into a bit of a floor. So if you're still long and you don't want to get out at 46, I don't know if I'd let 42.50 get out of the way or go out of the way there. And Virgin Galactic, I just want to update. We did have the short. I took it off too early. We'll flush it. Come on, space. I'll flush this one down the toilet. It was that same open trade. Fail off the open, you get out, take your stop, get right back in if it doesn't break the high or can't hold above the high. That's what we do. I get it all out in front of 20 even, only see it go to 1965, but hey, look at that. It's coming right back into VWAP, which if you look at where this was, I mean, there was a pre-market level here at about 20.30 or so. I want to see if we can't gently fade into that short. I just got 15s here to the short side in Virgin Galactic. There's probably a way that I can go long today, but that's likely above $21. I'd rather see some confirmation of strength as opposed to picking bottoms in this stock. Not the way I like to trade it. So short into that 20-30 area, maybe give it a couple extra pennies past it. Don't want to turn winners into losers here, and it's been one of the better ones this morning. Misstep in ANVS, slight rule break. And the only thing I'd say is the rule break is I probably took more shares than I wanted. So I could have had half the amount of shares. That would have been a better approach.
All right, just looking here, Palantir, nice one. Fisker, nice one right now. So some of these trades, other than NVIDIA, man, both of them working out right now. Fisker to the long side, obviously, boom, nice trade. It's funny because we were waiting at 12.10. It only went down to 12.15, so that's okay. And then another trade that's working out nicely for us as well, that should have been, guys, reloaded down here, obviously. We put the bids now. A little too late there, smart guy. But yeah, their bids are down there now. Let's wait to see. This was a collapse. Actually, I got to look over at NEO soon because when market collapses, I like to pick up some bottoms on NIO. But here goes Palantir, man. 76s, hell yeah. Nice little long. We're long 64 here on Palantir, so that's 15 cents. And so is this. Fisker's now 15 cents in the money as well as we've crushed through 12.40. So nice movement here to the upside on both of these names. And we want to take NVIDIA long. It looks like it may, it may break 600 again. We'll go long through 600 break. And then, I don't know, like 596, are we going to play that very bottom again on a break? I mean, if we go up and down on NVIDIA, I don't mind it, but it might be a short in front of 600 here. So we'll wait to see what action gives us. There goes NVIDIA. We're now long and strong. Let's see if we can't make some of this back. We're going to give it to its day's low now, guys. That's NVIDIA long, Palantir long, beautiful, and Fisker long as well. So let's see where we go from here.
And that ENVB, now remember I took that out when it broke that 3 even. It looks like it got to 316, 315 here, and then a higher low being put in right now. Once I see it on the turn, I'm gonna see if I can't get a position off of those highs. Look, at some point it has to obviously break this like 290, 292 area on VWAP to be a really good short, but that hasn't happened yet. I'll play it off of the high of the day here, so risk about 10 cents or so, depending on what the slippage works out to be. If I can get myself a better price in around this like 10 area, it'll be a little bit less than that. ANVS has halted again to the upside. That stock is hella dangerous, so watch out there. I'm kind of glad I've only taken one shot at it. Brenda, what's up?
Another one moving back higher. Deere, we talked about in the pre-market as well, back above this pre-market level of support, 360, I guess, around that area, coming back up to highs as well. Off of earnings, guys, DE.
All right, we're getting out of Fisker right now. Nice little 25-cent win. Let's go, Fisker, man. This is the one that I'm waiting for here. We have some offers, 48. And then after that, we're waiting for higher. So let's go with Fisker right now. Palantir also 20 cents in the money. So both of these names rocking and rolling. Miss V, what up?
Hey, Sean, GME is going to the upside. Stock is up around 2%, guys. Do you keep an eye on GameStop today?
Honestly,
I think we always got to keep an eye on something as far as GameStop or AMC is concerned. Is it going to the upside? Yeah, I guess 2%. Look, what I'm going to say to people right now is going to probably offend people, but that is what the business is. But this is not a long, is their business really that strong, GameStop, or are we just trying to play momentum with Wall Street bets, right? I don't love the business model. I don't think anybody really does, to be completely honest with you. But I mean, obviously there's people going to make cases here. There's new management, there's this, there's that. But let's be, like my kids last night, both my kids downloaded games, okay? GameStop doesn't see revenue from there. You can also buy the equipment, guys, from Best Buy, from pretty much every store selling, not every store, but a lot of major stores, Walmart, anything, selling equipment, right? So I don't know what the rationale is for this to keep on going other than squeezing. So if you like the name, great, but I can't really recommend this on any kind of fundamentals. I mean, I just like a short here through 187. I don't know where this thing goes. I mean, I'm not talking about this thing going all the way back to $20 or anything, but it's been a good run for those of you on GameStop. And I just want to say, be cautious on this name. But if we're playing momentum, there's no better break. 175 is right here, right now. So this is a decent break. Yesterday's high. Can't blame you if you're playing this one right now. So good luck on GameStop. It's not for me for the long term, but for a day trade, it looks great.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say I don't understand. I don't understand it. I mean, it's impressive that it can hold up those prices, but that's about all I can say that would even remotely add to that. I don't even like it as a day trade when it's not more than like 5% moving on the session, which it's not yet. I did get that ENVB off the top. I'll always take some out in front of VWAP, guys. So it just broke 3 even. I was able to get evens and then some out at 97. I'll bid some more in that low 90 range. But it has to break these 92s for a real flush where we can start thinking about shorting it at lower prices. Brennan, what's up, bud?
One with ties to crypto, but crypto not doing much so far today. But FTFT, we kind of grouped this into some of the Bitcoin stocks moving definitely on volume. It's a Chinese name, not seeing headlines, guys, for FTFT up 10%.
Oh, shoot. I thought we just got ticked out there. We're waiting at 6:03 for a $3 winner here on NVIDIA. So let's get this. Couple more ticks. I'm right there. Yes, sir. Bang. There it is. So we're back. We're back now, guys. We're back green on NVIDIA. Nice move to the upside. Let's see if it just keeps on going. We took that 604 break there. Sorry, 600 break back to the upside and just took it out at 603. The target really is 604 because that's that rate there. But I'm glad we just took some out. Now we'll hold the rest. Oh my God, heart attack central here for some of these names. Palantir though, no heart attack here as it just keeps on moving to the upside. Just missed opportunities, right? So, whoa, 92, wasn't even realizing that. Let's put an offer and I get out of that every day. Look at Palantir, guys. Today, if they're not doing this, we're just jumping in with the cash today. We're coming flying in right now. Big trades, Palantir. Hey, you want 40 cents in the money? There it is. What about Fisker, guys? We're long at 12.20. Look where this bad boy is right now. We're actually waiting at 48. So let's see if we get a print there. Where's my print? There it is. Like, we're just giving these to you. So a little bit of these today. Let's go on these. Let's go. Let's get some diamond hands going. Fisker, nice little win. 12.20. Bang that to the upside. Man, we're cooking with gas today, guys. And welcome aboard. It's been a big day. We're rocking here. We're positive. We're near the high of the day. Let's just keep on going. I have to look at NEO. The only missed opportunity, really. Roblox. And again, check out the sticky note if you want tons of fun. Coinbase gave you the top 239 on there as well. Space. Everything's there. Oh, yeah, and BTFD on Ford, except if you're me and you don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, Roblox just made another high through 82, well, not through 82.50, to 82.50, I should say. So no pullback in sight there. Coinbase, you just mentioned. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it is what it is. I mean, I keep saying and trying that 231. It dipped down to 231.50. At this point, you know, when I've missed that dip and I had this one sitting right off the open just to try to catch the falling sword, at this point, if it comes back in and gives that fill, I probably don't want it. I got to play off of what is the low now. So like a 232.50, 232.60, something along that range is much more reasonable for that pullback, having missed it by 40 cents or so. The entire time we tried to get into that Coinbase, of course, NVIDIA has been a great one, and being active in that is going to be well worth it. But Brendan's got a new one for us. What do you got?
The big reversals off the bottoms for a few today. Here's another one, EDU. Now up 1%, little online Chinese company. Held 10.75, 10.5, and is just ripping now, guys, on volume. About to take out some levels from yesterday for EDU.
All right. Yeah. So right now, good call on EDU. I'm just going to talk what I'm doing right now. Just got some out of Palantir at that 21 space. This is what Brendan, honestly, man, like bringing the heat to us. New names like Neil and I mean, more me, I guess, will tend to trade sort of the positions that I have a decent amount of shares. So we want to make sure we do that. But Brendan bringing new names to you. And I do want to bring DraftKings quickly. We've talked about this name and how beat down it's been. Maybe it's catching a bid. I did get another piece out of NVIDIA at 603. We can review that in a minute. But there's DraftKings with the 1 minute chart. Nice little tick upside. Built down that base at 44. I'm wondering if this right now is a consolidation that we're waiting for. Maybe DraftKings starts finally moving to the upside. We'll throw it back to you, Neil, in a second. Here's NVIDIA. There's the last out there, right on VWAP again. So double. We still have shares on board and we could still get out more. So we'll wait for a break. I'm still hoping a day's high coming for NVDA.
Well, that'd be sweet if it happens, guys. We'll go to the gates of hell for that ENVB. It finally breaks that 90s range. So this is where you can start thinking, well, for me anyways, which is what I'm going to do. If it pops back up, I can start shorting lower prices, like in and around that 3 range. Now, obviously, if it travels all the way down to this 75 area, I'll pull it back a little bit, down to the 75 area where it had that bit of a breakup in the morning, I might have to change that tune. But until we get there, we're just going to take more profit down in front of 75. We're going to short in front of 3 even. And then, yeah, like to say that I'm glad I didn't dig in or get stubborn with ANVS is a bit of like the understatement. The stock hit $60, so I'm not going to pretend to understand why this is ridiculous. I'll say it's ridiculous. So anyways, the stock is probably going to fall pretty hard at some point. Guessing exactly when that's going to happen is probably not going to be a good idea. So I'll let it continue to make some highs and look for only that halt type of trade, or just the most obvious red candle. Like if it isn't obvious that it's coming back to the downside with a red candle, then I don't care. It's got to be some kind of a halt. This stock is entirely out of control, and no need to have your face ripped off. Just because Coinbase missed the dip buy doesn't mean we don't have the other side of the trade, which could be that breakout, which is potentially looming here. The market is relatively flat. The ES is trying to break out, but the NASDAQ isn't doing a heck of a lot here. So Coinbase could be range bound. If that's the case, I only want those bottoms that we like down around that 232.50 area. So I'm gonna park a bid down there because I missed a bid already. I don't want to do that a second time, guys. I mean, it's kind of already been a missed opportunity on that particular name. I don't want to compound that. The ES is moving, like I just said. What is not, and we talked about this 28 level, it could give a failed break. CCL, it's getting right back into that price. If it wants to make a fresh high off of 05s, fair enough. But when we showed you guys the 15-minute chart, that was the area of concern for any potential breakout, and it clearly burned anyone trying to take it. I will now try to short in front of it on Carnival Cruise Lines. I don't mind reversing to a long, but it's got to be above that 28. So call it 28.05. I mean, 28.04 is the high of the day, so it's kind of easy pickings where your stop and reversal will be.
Guys, are we not having fun yet? Because Fisker right now, 40 cents. Look at Palantir, just breaks. O's there. We're going to bang 03 right now. So the whiz is back. Not only that, guys, so how about this? Okay, so this is 40 cents. Fisker's 40 cents. We talked about that. How about at NVIDIA? $5 now in the money on NVIDIA. So no crying over spilled milk as this name just continues to rip to the high side. Let's wait to see. Unfortunately, I did get double out there. So we're out of half of our shares. Yeah, half. Yes, exactly. Half there out at 604. Sorry, 603 for a $3 winner. Now we're in the money 6. So let's just keep on ripping to the high side right now on NVIDIA. Where do we stop? Nobody knows. Maybe 608. Let's not get too greedy. I was thinking high of the day, but if we can get a 608 print, man, we should probably take that, and then we will wait to see what happens. Although, I don't know, man, maybe we'll let it ride. Who knows? Come back, and you shall see Brendo at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, just like that, 10 o'clock, let's have a look at where things stand. At this point, we are positive on the day. It's actually the Russell, small caps, leading the way up a full percent right now. The Dow, 0.8%, the S&P, 0.6%, 0.5%, or in that neighborhood for both the composite and 100 when it comes to tech stocks. The NASDAQ here in Toronto, positive day as well. 0.2 for the TSX. Couple of things on the watch list this morning. Those LiDAR stocks we saw make big moves late in the day yesterday. This is Microvision. You can have a look at any of them really back to the upside after initial selling off the open. 14 held for MVIS. We're back into the pre-market range. Here we go with AT&T up on an upgrade. You can remember yesterday, the first day really of this week, it kind of bounced back, but holding some support levels right now around 30, guys, for AT&T. Back to you.
And one of those LiDAR names, laser in particular, coming to a level that I think we discussed right at the end of the show. I'm pretty sure we did anyways. This 2050. I mean, look, if you get through this, and you can sort of see here on the chart, there was a failed break to the upside on 20th, and there was a previous resistance point. If you get through 2050, there's a big gap to be filled. Whenever these rumors come in, you get the monster spike on the stock, and it usually retraces. So I'm looking for that 2150 level, guys. If that breaks down, you probably have room to 21 even. Coinbase just continues to hold up its end of the bargain to the upside. I'm not averaging into that ENVB until about 10 cents from now, or sorry, getting back into some shares, I should say. But Virgin Galactic is starting to make another run. I've had several shorts here. The last one into VWAP, we stopped out here when it broke 2035 so that we could retest. I mean, this is exactly where we got in on that flush to 20s. It was actually past 20. At 2060 off of the high of the day, that 2080 failed break. So if at first you don't, no, just kidding. Well, rinse and repeat, essentially, is the term I should be using. It's right at that 60 level. I'll take some more shares, hopefully at a much better price, because it is still that high of the day you are looming towards. You can turn me into a bull above 21, but till then, I mean, Virgin Galactic 2 days in a row has sold off the open, and now we're retesting the exact same price. Until it doesn't work, I'm going to keep doing it. ANVS has halted again. In 2.5 minutes, it'll be opened up, and it's at 60, is that right? 62.70. So I guess all systems up to like 60. Is it going to go to 70, 75? At some point, I mean, this ridiculousness has gotten out of hand here. 75, if it gets to that price, I might test it again. Has to get there first, obviously. Brendan?
Another one that's had a bit of a wild week, guys. Lordstown just popping up on one of my screeners here. Yeah, not seeing anything significant, but Ride, yeah. Back to the upside here. Just broke 10 on a volume spike for Ride.
Okay, yeah, we're just sitting back relaxing right now. We're going to do Hydration Nation. So when you have these kind of wins on today and it's such a big day, you got to make sure that you stay hydrated. So stay hydrated. We just also took our Costco sponsored, they're not sponsored at all, I paid for this out of my own damn pocket, vitamins. They're super cheap, probably not even good for you. Okay, 605 to the upside right now. We're gonna wait on NVIDIA. We just stared at $7 in the face, and that might have not been a good move, but we'll wait on that one. NVIDIA, we're still trying to hold strong. Thank you so much to Daryl, man, and to everybody else on the chat. You guys are welcome because we're gonna do this. Money. I mean, there's Palantir, man. We tweeted this out already. You guys, hopefully you can do anything you want. Look at this. So again, I'm gonna check back. If I don't have 100 likes on this, look at Palantir. If back to 2050, go long. What is the bottom here right now? 2050. So that it goes back to 2050. Where's my long? Oh, ho, hum, doing other things. Long 63s, still happy with it. But there it is, back to 2050 on the sticky note. I'm going to put that up. You guys can have a look at it. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's fine as well. But here's the link right now. We put it up on Twitter for you every single day. Other people, whatever. I'm not going to get involved with other businesses or services or anything like that, but I sit here, put in the work for you guys, and I hope you like it. This is where it is right now. Let's check it out. Okay, there it is. So thank you so much already, guys. Let's just go hot dogs for our viewers, man. There it is, 100 likes. Thank you so much. 200 maybe? Again, thank you so much for that one. Looking to get verified now. They brought that back on Twitter as well, so hopefully we can do that. Thank you so much for all the love, but really, the love needs to be for this, man. What up, B?
PDSB. I just saw one we were talking about yesterday popping up here on volume again. Ends up 780, 790 was the high from yesterday, but 3.5%. Some buyers coming back to PDSB, guys.
It might actually be a bit of a turn on this ANVS. I'll try it. Look, I'm going to try it here. If it breaks back above this like 63-ish area where it's been since that halt, I mean, you talk about these halt prices, and I like them at significant levels. So it's not. You have to have some kind of an out, and you're not giving it to the high of the day, but that halt price usually on this particular strategy is going to be the one that I go with. It's about 63, 62.70 to be particular about it, guys. So in it, and I waited around for an opportunity to have again, and of course, you're going to get that little break here. You try to be patient with this. Ooh, it actually looks like it rejected off of this level, but you know what? There it is. One more time on ANVS, and it's, again, a relatively tight stop, but you have to have one here because, I mean, it could be at 75 any second now. If this is the turn, maybe you look for a break down instead of a break off of that halt trade. I think you're looking at like a 60 even entry area. There's so much room to the downside. This is going to eventually be worth it. Like a $5 or a $10 move is going to seem pretty small. And 60 does look like it's an iceberg that could be trying to hold here. And every time, it actually just broke. I just took a 60 short. I'll try it one more time here off the 63. So 60 to 63 is going to be my entry area. That's going to be it every single time until we make a new high or we get the flush back down to $50.
That's a crazy looking chart, like so many little small ticks there. Yeah, nuts. No small ticks here as Palantir continues to go. I just want to say thank you so much here. I highlighted it for Austin. I actually just tweeted this. Thank you so much. It's like Sean knows what he's doing. Sometimes that could be, ooh, I didn't even see this one, King of Palantir. Yeah, well, me and Kathy talk about this all the time, so we're pretty comfortable with that. Yeah, 1.3K likes. We like that one. Just made 260. Hell yeah, Maurizio. What is up? Good trade there. Love that name, Maurizio. Good play on that one. And oh yeah, by the way, another one. And if you just want to go, I mean, I did the sticky note again, but it was like Ford on pullbacks, Fisker's long, Palantir on pullbacks. We also got to look at, what was the other name that I had on here? Coinbase. I want to look at that when we get back from Brendan. What's up?
Real quick, guys, on that ANVS. Yes, it's $60, but 183 million on the market cap. Look at the float. 4.4 million free float on ANVS. Check the short as well. It's only like 1.2%, so not terribly high on the short percent, but very, very teeny tiny float, guys.
And that's the thing. You have to remember, like, it's not just short interest that causes parabolic moves like this. Float is just as much. It's all about supply and demand, right? So that's why the float is going to be an interesting number as well. Now, this is the other reason why is the float is what Brendan said. You're talking about $5 to $10 moves. So this time when I have this trade on, a lot of times you'd see me take like a couple of dollars on a trade like this, but no, the first target is in that $5 range. Now I'm bracketing $5 here with a couple of bids, and then if it gets down to 50, there is that whole price at 51.80, so I'm probably looking at like a 52. But I think it's going to be sort of worth that bigger area when it does flush. Could it go all the way back to 47? Of course, that's true. Do I ever try to capture the entirety of that move? Very rarely, and if I do, it's with that last like 10% of the trade where you hold on to it. So. And again, I've had relatively tight stops. I know we're talking 5 and 10 and then trying to give up 3. But that's the way you got to play it when you're in these. You have to have a tight stop. You have to have an idea where you know you're going to be wrong, guys. And that's what it's going to always be about for me. Look, this stock is it's still in that $3 range. It looked like it tried to go here, so I'm not just going to stare at it. Well, you guys don't have to stare at it. But look, the last time this happened, and I'm talking about Coinbase, this level here was like a 235. There was a failed break off this and then a pullback, which was a fantastic long later on in the session. So I look at that pattern from yesterday and say, if this can repeat itself, I can't necessarily wait around for a 230, 250. If it dips into VWAP, that's going to be a good one as well. So Coinbase, exact same setup. It was about this time, I do think. It's this like 236.25, but it did this before, and then buying that dip was a good one until the IRS made that announcement. But of course, you can't actually predict something like that. So I'm looking for a Coinbase dip. I know I'm bidding through 230, 250, but I'm also looking to see if I can catch something a little better than that if it reverses here.
Okay, so just an update here. It's going to wind up being a mistake, but I guess the anointed king of Palantir now out of Palantir. I was nervous about the NASDAQ breaking again here on a Friday. It came down to that low. I thought Palantir was still great, being as high as it was. So we do now have to wait for this to come back down here. I'm out of it. You have some consolidation up here. Do we still like the break on Palantir though? Someone said, do you think it gets to 2150 today? Yeah, I mean, I don't see why it doesn't if the NASDAQ goes. So let's try one more break here through 2115 would be the high there. I like that spot coming through. Oh my God, we missed Virgin Galactic. Damn it. That was that play that we wanted as well. We can get it now. Let's not be too mad. Long through 2080. So it's right here, right now. Virgin Galactic taking out that high. And we talked about why we liked it. It was just strong yesterday. So Virgin Galactic right now taking out that high. Strong off the rebound yesterday. It looks like it did the same thing today. Would have been a genius pickup at the bottom. If you look at Virgin Galactic there, the bottom yesterday's 1930. What was it today? 1970. So you hold it for a little bit there and you're well rewarded. But Palantir looks like it wants to take 2115, guys.
I didn't even ask why my stop didn't hit through a 2080. I just punched out of Virgin Galactic the second you said it there. But sometimes you think you have a stop and you don't. The second I heard a price above it, I went over to level 2 and punched out. It's holding 21 for me, which means it could still be that failed break entry point on Virgin Galactic. Now I am still watching this ANVS. There was a buyer at 58. Holding this level, holding. It finally broke and then snapped right back up. And I'm telling you, like 58 broke. It went down about like 60, 70, maybe 80 cents on the bid. And then boom, buyer stepped right back into it. So I'm going to take a little bit of profit out when I see that happen. I'm still holding on. Whether I tighten up to stop, if I do so, it's probably only to like 61.5, 62 or something like that. It's kind of splitting hairs here. But just for those of you guys that are following that name, that's exactly what happened. And obviously, I could have sat there, and I talked about this at 2080 level. I could have sat there, had a stop up at that level, and then had it not, thought I had to stop at that level, have it not trigger, and then suddenly it's like, oh, it comes right back down. Could I hold on to it? Sure. But I wanted to get out. I wanted to take my stop at that particular price. So I get out of it. I don't just sit there and say, oh, well, maybe a keystroke error is going to work in my favor. No. Keystroke error means I missed my stop. I paid the extra 3 or 4 cents to get out of the trade. If it's a failed break that's holding 21, fair enough. I'm waiting for 21 for any longs on this particular name. If this is a failed break, I can always get back into the trade below that 70 mark. Coinbase is doing absolutely nothing. But NVIDIA, I think you're still in it, Sean. Is that correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Yes, I didn't want to necessarily guess. I haven't had a chance to really look over too many times because I've been pretty busy with this ANVS, which is nonsense. But it just bounced off of 600. I can cancel this bid because if it comes in, I probably don't want it. It just bounced off of 600. So it's put in a quite higher I guess low, obviously, you can see here, bouncing off 95s. I was waiting for 91s. Now bouncing off 6. I think if it takes another crack at that 6 even, maybe bounces off like 50s or 1s, it might be worth a bit of a reload here. It looks like it really does want to test that top, and the market still looks pretty strong as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just looking here at some. I'm trying to find out what we want to do with NVIDIA, because it's just like I have these visions of more of money, but at the same time we got to have a little bit more. Where is it coming? There it is. Time and hands. I don't know. We're trying to do this, man. We're trying to hold it. It's been such a monster week. It's been such a monster month that I'm really getting greedy here. And I just think that this 607, like, this is a great area to get out. Like, if I normally looked at this chart and I didn't know any news about NVIDIA or had these visions of breaking the day high, dancing around like sugar plums in my head, then I probably would be getting out now. But I want to hold this. We kind of reload position right there. I don't even know why I didn't even do it. But NVIDIA right now, upside. Let's just see if it keeps on going. I hate that this is bouncing around right now. So, this was a good out early on in the morning there, 607.50 or whatever this was. We had some best outs up here, 609. I just think we could revisit that. But again, if the NASDAQ's going to fail, then this trade's going to fail. So, we're kind of just resting on this right now. So let's wait to see what happens with NVIDIA here. I still like it, but hey, more work to be done, guys.
What is with this stock? I just typed in the chat, this is it. That's what, I think that's what I typed. I might have actually made a typo because I wasn't really watching it, but this stock, ANVS, popped right back in. Now remember that Hull price? It goes right to the Hull price. We're like pennies away. It stalls out. You know what I'm trying to do in that situation. I'm trying to get shares short. I chased it $1.50, missed. If it comes up, I don't want it now. I chased it $1.50, and the second I missed that short, I typed, this is it. It goes to 55. I get some shares out, and it holds. Whatever. I mean, obviously, whoever's buying this thing is, they must really, really like it. I got another bid in front of 50, but this is defying all of my expectations here. That usually would have been a halt down type situation. Just crash into VWAP, get to 50 bucks, and maybe even halt down. The fact that didn't happen is ridiculous. It tells you what is in the stock. I still think it has another leg down. Guys, always take profit at some point. I'm not going to look, I'm not sitting here trying to tell people where to get out when they have monster winners on, if you got that to the long side, but that's exactly how fast it could come back in. It could be staring 50 in the face. It's about $5 in the money, but remember I lost on the way up, guys, with relatively tight stops, trying to lose 2 or 3. The last of these shares, I'm trying to make 8 to 10, depending on where it goes. This is a dip I was talking about in Coinbase. It's only to 235. Dips below VWAP, I want longs before it gets to that 32.50 if I can do so. But this is a move I could be looking for to pick some up in Coinbase. Brendan?
What happens when you have a small float, guys? You won. Halt to the upside. We're right back into some of these levels from yesterday in the afternoon. So big pop there, 9 to 980 on U1.
So a horrible, horrible news story just hitting right now for anybody involved with crypto. China going to crack down now more on mining. So again, not a big fall here, but making that move back down to 2,600 is Ether, and then making that move down to 40,000 again is BTC. So BTC cruising at 41. Now some news coming, Brendan. You can look into that and maybe give us some more details. But it just says reiterates call for crackdown on Bitcoin mining. So I mean, I don't know what the crackdown would be. I don't know what are they going to do, but Bitcoin miners can be in their basement mining. So we'll see what does happen. But that cannot be good news for Mara. That cannot be good news for any of these Chinese mining companies that are like SOS that are out there as well. Let's just check in if the charts load. Yeah, there's Mara. Big dip down, but maybe it's finding a bottom here, guys. Watch out for your crypto plays.
I'll do this one.
Yeah.
Sean's not throwing me a pizza. Well, in the graphic, he's throwing me a pizza. But I was just sitting on the bid and moving my bid up on Coinbase. And it's like, you get a piece of news like that and you want to buy a dip. Well, maybe you should be a little bit more patient. I was just about to move it up $1. And so I'm obviously not going to do that now based on that headline. I think I can look to the actual low that I liked in the first place, which was at 231. So patience can be a virtue. You don't have to look. I mean, you could sit there and be like, yeah, but I wanted 232.50. But that was before we saw that headline come through. So I'm going to adjust my expectations there on Coinbase. ANVS has caught another bid at 53, which is, I keep typing in NASDAQ and it's over on the formerly Amex, NYSE New York. Come on, There you go. It's caught a bit of a bid at that 53. I'm still waiting in front of that 50, and obviously you have that halt price at 51. I kind of think there's stops that will break when it breaks out that second to last halt up, which is 52. I want those stops to get me out. Maybe it flushes a couple of dollars further, but I'm kind of hoping those long stops will get that last little trigger down. It looks like maybe this was the flush. If this is the biggest pullback it gives, I will be absolutely surprised, but I'm still going to take it anyways. Brendo?
Not a lot of details on this, guys, but I can show you the headline here as far as this China news is considered. China's Premier Liu, talking about crackdown on illegal securities activity, severely punish financial illegal activities, the language used there. So, I mean, we knew this story earlier in the week that this was possible. The other angle, I guess, to kind of consider here is they have also made a digital yuan, and they're trying to make their own digital currency. So maybe negativity going towards the other side of things, a strategy here, possibly, guys.
So, like, you know, you take a shot. Like Nvidia's gonna get wrecked on this news, guys. So whatever, Nvidia, you just do you. We're gonna give it down to this low. We'll see if it cracks it. But this is not good news for Nvidia because obviously everyone buying their products based on mining. So they're one of the best GPUs out there for mining. So I have a couple of GPUs that are Nvidia's. So yeah, you know. Big time flush down. Yeah, that's right. I also mine crypto, so don't come after me, Chinese government. But we'll wait on that one. I've actually stopped mining crypto, but I do have the capabilities of doing so. 596, 598, 597. But this is not good news for any of these names. So Nvidia getting cracked here. We'll wait to see if any of these Bitcoins and whatnot can settle down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said. I mean, I already said it was a save on Sean's part for me there because I canceled both coin and Nvidia bids the second it happened. I wish, and I just finished talking to you guys about the fact that I thought I had a stop on Virgin Galactic. I clearly, obviously didn't. But then once I saw it was at that price that I should be getting out, I just got out. I could have held on to it and then just pretended like everything was okay. And then sure, it comes back down into VWAP, it would have been a winning trade. But the market will reward you at times for doing the wrong thing. That doesn't mean it's a good decision. I talked about coin just a second ago. Coinbase, that is, just a couple of seconds ago. Wait for that better price. It does dip down into 230, bounces off of that price now. So instead of just sitting in front of the falling sword, what I'm able to do here, hopefully, did I just miss my entry? Yeah, what I'm hoping to do here is catch it in front of that 230 on the way back up. So I wait for a bit of a bounce and then re-engage at a price that I like, which, whatever. I mean, if I can catch like 50s or so, like that's probably okay. So we'll see if I can't get like 231.50-ish area into the long side of the trade off of that 230. So risk about $1.50 plus slippage. A heck of a lot better than trying to catch it at 230, 250 or above that, which was what I was prepared to do. So I probably saved myself a few dollars. I know I wanted to buy that dip anyways off of that support level. It was good making this play before. This is a different story here. I'll probably only take one crack at it because this level breaks on this news. The difference is there's a little bit more legit. I mean, another news story that's negative, of course. Yesterday you had the IRS, and they had a bit of a dip buy, which didn't have too much behind it. Here, we're not going to fight the tape too hard, but I will try the dip buy in Coinbase. First execution of the day. I think all week, this is probably the longest it's taken me to have a position on Coinbase.
Okay, we're just, we're trying to make some trades here, but stuff happening. So look at Palantir here on that dip as well. So, we know they don't have this on their balance sheet. We've already talked about that with Bitcoin and balance sheet for them, but right now it is coming to the downside. So we took a little spot there ahead of VWAP. So we did take that 16 break or 15 break. I don't even know if it broke there, but we got 16s anyway. So we'll average down just a little bit here for this name and just see where we go from here. Good little trade on Nvidia as it does bounce back. We'll take some out this time at 604 if we can. Again, greed is not something that we're trying to possess here. So we do want to get out of this Nvidia trade if we can, if it does go back to the upside. Not a trade that I'm typical for doing, holding on to things like this for that long. So Nvidia, we're still comfortable with it. I don't have a problem with Nvidia, but at the same time, let's just get out if it does come back to 604. I don't know if this is going to affect Nvidia. To me, I think think it does. But again, we're just trading on the fly here. So not a long-term position, just trying to play some momentum. So back to VWAP is nice. So 603.50, we'll take another piece out on NVIDIA and then see where we go from there. But 603.50, another piece out for NVIDIA coming up soon, guys. If it can get back up there, maybe 604.50, but here it comes. Market now moving back to the upside.
Yeah, I got shaken out of that Coinbase, but I don't think it affects, I don't think long-term it's a big deal for NVIDIA there. Back another one on my radar here. I mean, JZXN, Brendan already mentioned, it's just halted to the upside and is making a parabolic move, similar to ANVS. This one has some room to run if you look at a daily chart, but I'm going to be involved at a turn if I can catch it, but I don't need to force the trade. I'm still in some of that ANVS as well, so double dipping, not always the best idea, especially if ANVS pops up, I have to trail my stop at some point. But you guys need to get over to Brendan for the small cap recap. It's already 10:20. We're over time.
Guys, yeah, busy morning. Let's get into a few that we're moving around as far as small caps are concerned. Neil was all over this one. I'll give you my take here. ENVB. If you go out to the daily chart, there's a bit of a consolidation level from 310 to 325 going back a month or so ago. Above that, there's not much until you get up to 4, really. So that was kind of what I was working with. So around 3, then 310 to 320. So we had to really be patient, or I was trying to be patient anyways with this, knowing that it could get all the way up to 310, 320, testing back to 270 now. So a little bit of a slow mover, though. It needs a little bit of volume to continue, I feel, for ENVB. Whoops, I went too far here. U1, the other one that I was concentrating on this morning. This is 990, this high, 990, 995. So it's kind of using that as my gauge of how far this might be able to go if we did kind of grind back up this way at the open. But nice flush down to 8.5. But yeah, off to the races. Positive news, member, for U1. So might get bought up on volume today. This ANVS, I was really trying to be patient to get shares. Didn't really get much. But nice move off of the top there. But if we do get back into 58 to 60, as Neil was mentioning, probably worth a revisit. Back over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Brendan. And yeah, I mean, I've kind of been ignoring this. It's not really ignoring the stock so much as it's just I haven't had a single trade in it. But look at how clean this dip buy or pullback was on Roblox. I mean, the first dip off of 83 goes to 82.20, right into like a fresh hop at 84 and a quarter, and then, I mean, give me a break. Like almost to the penny, it's going to dip off the same price. So that's a pretty interesting one here. At some point, if it can't hold 82, I mean, you probably think about getting into a short trade, but it's incredibly strong, up 10% on the session. You start thinking about later round breakouts and maybe even taking a long off this. I mean, VWAP, you can just throw it out the window. I don't think that's going to be too much of a concern for it. JZXN has opened back up, and yeah. So, I mean, look, I wasn't going to force my way into this trade. There is a setup I usually like off of a reopen. At this point, you're guessing at a high. If it had been testing lower, that's what it would have been one. So I might have missed the turn on JZXN, but that's okay because you have to follow your rules. And that didn't really set up the way I like those post-halt trades too, unfortunately for me there. I'm not ignoring Oatly, but look at this. Barcoding off of 22. So if this breaks to the upside on Oatly, maybe that's a test of the high of the day that I'm looking for here, but absolute barcode action on this one. Despite the fact that it's done almost 6 million shares, somehow it's managed to be the most boring 6 million shares imaginable. If it pops to the upside, I'm going to be fading it. I don't really have any long ideas for this stock today other than the shorts, and I don't necessarily want to short it off this level when it's barcoding here. I'd rather it break and then maybe have a fail off the high of the day.
We love that barcode word, don't we?
It's a great one, man. It is.
Yeah, whoever came up with that one, man, congratulations to you, man. We're using that like 24/7. We should have probably been paying you for that. Okay, so I don't know. I'm still in the same old song and dance right now on all these names. So we got to wait a bit here. We're trying to short, like I'm trying to short this ETHE. I haven't done a very good job of it. We were short early, and then we got out, and now we're trying to get short again. But it's just scary, like the way this ether is moving. I don't really know what to do other than just keep going short. We're at 2,500 right now. I took some off the other day at 2,750. That was just yesterday, and I was feeling bad about it. We talked about that a little bit. I didn't take out any Cardano or anything. So, but right now, a nice little move to the downside on Ether. So let's watch to see how far this one wants to keep going. I'm just going to see if I can get out now. This is a big move downside. So we're congratulating ourselves on that one. But here we go. NVIDIA, I do have the offer upside right now at this 603 level, but it doesn't look like that even wants to go as the NASDAQ struggling right now downside. So watch out for NASDAQ here. If we break below this, we may say goodbye to NVIDIA. We're still waiting for the day's low to come through though, so there's still a lot to go. That's why like we're long at 600. We're gonna give this $4 worth of room. That's why I'm trying to get this 604 just to make the math work, but that doesn't necessarily matter, guys. Like you just have to trade your book and trade what you think is right, not necessarily what the market wants to do. So if it comes back down, we get out and that's that, but you know, I do have offers up here, so if that does pop, that pops. A good run back in Palantir gets us out a little bit at 2102. Our average price is 07, so that's a loser. But with the NASDAQ making this move down, nice bottoms, right? So I'm trying to pick up Palantir a little bit more at these bottom levels where we did before at 90, but we'll play it for the bounce back just in case that does happen. So Palantir right now looking for a bounce back play.
And here comes this that ANVS again. Now, it bounced off, and we talked about this at 53 when it happened, but it bounces off of that halt price, or at least close to it, tries to retest, and it can't get above 58. That's where we actually, remember I talked about this on the way out, that at 58 there was a bit of a buyer, tried to break, they stepped back into that price immediately, so I'm like, I'll take some shares off there just in case it runs to the high. It gives me an option to re-enter. I then missed that re-entry when it failed off the halt price. So, I mean, the setup worked exactly like I kind of thought it would, but I just wasn't fast enough on the keys there. It goes back to this 58, cannot get to that price and starts to roll over. So I got to figure if it breaks 53 now, that's going to get me that push to 50 where I can get out in front of it, catch the $10 on the last of the trade. If it bounces off, there's a lot to say, sorry guys. If it bounces off 53 and doesn't make that move, I'm probably gonna have to take it off at 54, 55, make the $5 or $6 winner and not let it reclaim that 58. If it does that, I would have wasted a good trade. I'm letting it break now, just in case it can test that 53 level, but you gotta try to hit that home run with the trade. Every time I was shorting and taking it out, you gotta have those tight stops. You got to be able to make sure you're not going to get blown out of the water when it's not just a small cap name, but when it's a tiny float. You have to have an out and keep them really, really tight. I think averaging into these, I mean, look, I know there's traders that'll probably say, if you think it's eventually coming down, just short it to oblivion. Fine. I mean, if it works for you, I would never do that because that's crazy. I mean, look how far it went. But if it works for you, it works for you. I don't know what to say. ENVB, I got out of this away from the shot. I forgot to mention here, guys. It bounced off of this 270. This is pre-market lows here at 265. I cover the trade. I want to get back in if it goes to VWAP here. So I'm going to rest some orders in front of that 90 range in the mid 80s or so just to get back into this one. It's been sliding along and been a pretty easy one if you're monitoring it. I did get shaken like a Christmas tree out of my long in Coinbase, but it is continuing to slide down. So I'm not sure this move is over. I'm not really going to pick a bottom again. I said I'd be one and done, particularly on that name. It looks like that's going to definitely be true. Oatly has finally made a break. So you wait for it to move. It spikes through. This is why I don't want to show off this level. I mean, it spikes through. Doesn't even pretend to stop off the high of the day. So thank goodness I'm not blindly getting into it. I'm waiting for a bit of a turn. Does it fail at yesterday's top, 22.75? If that's going to be the case, I want that roll over here. So once I see it start to slow down, I'll try and catch some shares off that high of the day. Wow. I mean, immediately, the first reversal immediately gets me short, just sort of slamming into my face there, guys. So 22.80 is yesterday's high. If it breaks that, I'm gone 62, risk 20 cents plus what might be slippage given the spread that I'm seeing.
All right, I'm still just waiting and waiting to see if anything's going to happen here to this market. Like it's making bottoms. We do have Ford. Let's go Palantir back to flat on that trade. So good look. We didn't get that 90, but I don't know. Will the NASDAQ bounce off this level? We're still in NVIDIA. You guys obviously know that. We've talked about that NVIDIA trade over and over again a couple times today. So we still are in that. We're going to wait to see where it goes. And then I was waiting for Ford as well. At 66 is my bid. Where did it go? It pulled. Damn it, it pulled back to 70, so that could have been bought there as well. Just my mind's everywhere right now. So yeah, that would have been a good little long there off Ford, but if you got it, you got it. If you didn't, then maybe wait again. Let's see what this market wants to do. We're in some decent trades right now, man. Fisker still 28 cents in the money. I like where that's going, so we can wait on Fisker here. That's gonna hopefully be a nice little win back to the upside. Looking for it to take out the top. That's a big bid there that we got. 2020, basically the low of the day. So let's see if Fisker has some love to the upside again. Really? I mean, we're positive. Everything's good. We're at the highest spot. We have nothing lost from the top, but NVIDIA could change that if it does break the bottom of the day here. What's up, B?
All right, a little bit of news to pass along as far as the overall show is concerned, guys. If you're joining us for the first time, will not affect you terribly. But as of today, we are going to spend the 11 to 11:30 period working on more content for you, more ideas for you, more great educational style content for you. So as of today, today is going to be the first day. The show's going to be ending at 11, guys. So we won't be going right through until 11:30 as per usual. So again, we're going to take the time to use it more constructively and make more content that you can watch over the weekend, that you can watch after work when you get home at night, pre-recorded type content for you. So starting today, 11 o'clock end time for the show. It's 10:30 right now, as I mentioned. Let's get a quick check on how things over in Europe are doing. There's 1 hour left over there. V, what's up?
Hey Brandon, European markets are mostly positive. Cartier maker Richemont is up more than 4% as its net profit rose by third in 2020-2021. Back to you.
Yeah, a lot of earnings coming out a little bit positive, as we've been saying, but the reactions not so much, guys.
Okay, so there goes Palantir upside as well. A nice little move back, man. We're just crushing things left, right, and center here. So, you know, we just need NVIDIA to go. Ether was good. I mean, we've been buying these dips down here. You can see like a madman on ETH, so that's been working out, down 10% now. So watch out for that one as that's kept on going. And then NVIDIA right here. VWAP is coming back. I'm going to put an offer at 602.50, man. If we get ripped up one more time, we'll take it out. Our day's monstrous, so let's just keep going on that. 602.50. I'm changing my offer from 603.50 to 602.50 right now. What up?
Yeah, I just got like the weirdest fill of all time, but I'm just going to get out of it because I have no idea how that popped in on ANVS. I got out of my short trade and then found myself in a long. But anyways, I'll just punch out of that one. Don't even care. Because I don't want the long any stretch of the imagination. If it goes in the money, I could absolutely care less on it. I just want to get to that OTLY, and I apologize. I did mention to you guys that I was short. I sort of said that really quickly as we're going into that high of the day from yesterday's action, and then I was short off of that. So, you know, sometimes it happens pretty fast. One of the reasons why we're going to do more educational content to walk you guys through the thought process there. But got that 62 short. It works back down towards today's high and the lower high. So I take some out. If it gets to that iceberg order at 22, I'm definitely going to be covering in front of it. So we'll see if we can't get that fill. It has been a good short. I've been waiting around for Oli to make a bit of a move, and it finally did. Brendo?
Another one to look at here. I noticed this one earlier, guys, but it kind of died off a little bit. But this IGC just popping back up on volume as well through day highs there, back to 150. I mean, this is a choppy mess over here on the daily chart, but not seeing headlines, but IGC catching a bit, guys.
IGC, that's
okay. We just update quickly here as we'll see if the bulls continue to kick. We just got some out right there at 601 and a half or 601 and a quarter there on NVIDIA. So out right there. Sorry, 601 even. Sorry, I just hit offer enter. That's what it was. So 601 even there on NVIDIA. So, you know, again, bids 600. You can see where we're long 600. So we'll take that dollar. And now we wait. Like now, I'm going to wait for a VWAP break. The reason why is, like, the NASDAQ's not going. There's, again, sometimes you have to forget about the news and just sort of look to see what technically is happening right now. And although I think NVIDIA needs to be way up here, this is the NASDAQ, but although I think NVIDIA needs to climb as well, if the NASDAQ's going to stop at 13,505, then we have this Bitcoin news. We have a bunch of different stuff happening. So I'm not really sure what NVIDIA's fate's going to be now. So I'm going to wait now for the YOLO trade. That's it. So now we're waiting to see if we can get 606. Otherwise, man, I already have this pegged. We have half of our position now. Here comes the tank down. So yes, like really super happy that we got out there on NVIDIA, at least half of our trade there at 601 for the $1. So now look, we make $1 there. So now if it comes back down and we wind up losing 4, it's not as bad. It's only on half of our position. So again, you know, you lose $4 on your full position or $4 on half and then take the 1/2 out for the $1. Anyways, I know this is a lot of back and forth, but like that lessens the blow on this like so huge. So if we do come back to the downside, NVIDIA will get flushed and we'll be gone. we gone on NVIDIA if it does flush through 596, but that's the trade, and that's my logic there. That's why we took out half. So I just wanted to come out and tell you guys that that was the trade that we made based on this, the NASDAQ cracking, right? So I'm not going to hold a big NASDAQ name, even though I love the news. That's NVIDIA. I think it's a safe spot, but not today, not on this Bitcoin news, guys.
And remember Squarespace? Wow. So another move, it's up 6%, guys, but another move to the upside. You can see it's only traded a couple of sessions here, the direct listing, sold by the insiders on the first day. And then you can talk about barcoding. This is kind of barcoding, but 53, you can sort of see a bit of an iceberg, or obviously a bit of a level holding at the top here on Squarespace. It's sort of obvious, and if you can't notice that that's a seller at 53, well, I don't really know what to tell you. You could short in front of it, but that's what I did, of course, in Oatly. So I waited for it to break and then shorted it when it broke to the upside. I have a bit of a different idea on Squarespace because I wanted to be long, so I'm going to go long when this eventually breaks that 53.10, which is the current high. So you kind of let it break that 53. It's only gone through one time, ticked 10 cents higher, and then basically held. So I'm going to wait for confirmation that it's through 53 and go with that 53.11 area as my stop breakout on Squarespace. And if it bounces to the downside, I'm not trying to buy the dip. I'm not trying to do anything fancy. It's a pure breakout play for me on Squarespace. I'm just looking for a 53.10 high of the day break. A couple of days in a row. Pretty strong stock. See if it can't revisit it. I want to go over to, where are you, Virgin Galactic? So it's actually looking, a little bit more bullish, I guess that you could probably say here. Doesn't quite bounce off VWAP, but it's looking like it wants to test again. It still hasn't broken that 21, which would get me to the bull side of the trade. I think that's a good level. Clearly it's been a little bit strong. There was this spike down, and I can't ignore the fact that, you look where this spiked down to 1970. Look at the afternoon bottom on Virgin Galactic, 1970. So you look at levels like that, and maybe I should have given that last out a chance to get to that before reversing. That's something I can learn from in the past, or learn from in the future, I should say. At this point, I want to see if it can, on a reversal, hold this level here. And I point at these tops on yesterday's action, 2015. That's a lower high I'd like to see if it can bounce off of. If it does that, you can turn me on a bull on a press through VWAP. But if it gets through that price, I think it's probably going to be a short in the rest of the afternoon. And I maintain a 21 break through the high of the day. I think that's going to be a good one for us there. Just need Oatly to make a run. I've ignored Tesla for now. Anyways, I talked about there being a 275 dip buy or breakout and hold above 600. If I trade Tesla every day, it means I'm doing something wrong for me anyways. Maybe that's not true for you guys. The market is coming back in, so Tesla could possibly test that 75, where I do like a long 76, 77 in front of it.
Damn it. We tried just to get Ethereum short there. I had it and I dumped it. So damn it. That was a mistake. Look at Ethereum still, guys, 2300 right now, and still making moves to the downside. So just be very, very careful if you're looking at that one. And again, it's the China news crackdown. I have it posted up on my Twitter, so you can find that. Bitcoin, Valeria, you're getting ready to put your money in down to 36,000 again. So watch out for Bitcoin. Actually, 37,000. My bad. Here we go. I can keep it up for you if you want. Making the move down. Nice little bounce, though, off 36.7. So we're bouncing around a little bit. NVIDIA's still just chilling out, tempting me to make a move on it. So we'll wait to see on that one. But that's NVIDIA, Fisker, and Palantir right now all aboard. So let's wait to see where we go upside now. Hopefully it's somewhere nice, as we're a little bit nervous. So here it goes. Fisker, still 50s on mind for Fisker.
Exactly. Try to pick your spots if you can. I talked about that JZXN. So watch. I didn't have a trade for this stock, and someone asked in the chat, what should I do? Should I go long or should I go short? And I told you guys I was sort of staying away from it until it made a better setup for me. You're going to see it and try to, obviously it tried to break that whole price to the downside, bounces off of it. Now you're trying to get through another high here and then starting to slow down. So that's a turn that I'm usually going to like. I'm going to try and pick up some shares here off that lower high. So I wait for that little bit of a setup. I know I can give it to about that high of the day. You round up if you like. Towards that, 12 even obviously is going to stick out like a bit like a sore thumb, guys. So that's what I'm going to try and do here. Just cancel a couple orders and try to chase it again. I don't want to chase too far. Come on, give me a fill, give me a fill. There we go. I just got 61s to the short side, so you give it to 12s, and plus slippage, you're risking about 50 pennies on that trade. So I didn't see anything overall in this stock before, but I allow it to calm down, show that it can actually hold a range without halting. It fails to break this halt price. Clearly that's going to be a bit of an out for me. I'll take some out in front of 11. I'll take some out in front of that halt price and see what happens. But finally into that JZXN. Brendan with Sector Watch.
All right, let's have a look at the S&P 500, guys. Real quick, we'll talk about 0.3% move. So we are still in positive territory, but overall, this is a little deceiving because the moves in general kind of muted. Nothing standing out, as significant as far as positivity here. LW in the consumer staples group up on earnings. VFC here down significantly on earnings as well, 8% there. There's Ford, 2.6%. We've been talking about it. GM being dragged along with that, 1% back to the upside. It's actually the banks providing most of the strength today. We haven't talked about many of them. Or any at all, but the banking sector doing quite nicely. The industrial group, here's Deere as well, DE, we mentioned 3%. Boeing right beyond that, or below that, I should say, 2.25% for Boeing, a nice day. EXPD, there's FedEx, JBHT here in the transportation group, also in positive territory. Healthcare stocks also in positive territory. Again, moves a little more muted so far. As far as negativity is concerned, you got to look to the semiconductor space. We've been talking about NVIDIA, 2.7% here. Intel as well, 0.8%. AMD, already red on the day and moving lower. AMAT there as well, we mentioned early on this morning. 0.9%. We're up 0.3%, guys, for the S&P.
Yes, we are. And trying to hold those gains as well. But the NASDAQ just turned red. And of course, we've been covering some of that fall, as you mentioned there, Brendan. But a little bit of a pullback in that JZXN, just to show you. But a buyer steps in at 11.30. I'm just below that price and looking for that 11 push down and then maybe down towards that halt as well. So still short in this JZXN. But there is, as usual, a bit of a buyer at that 11.30 level. I mean, it tries to come down and you get some people that are possibly covering some shorts, some larger shorts. Maybe they had them from earlier and they're trying to take a small win here. I don't think it's necessarily big buyers. It just broke now, so I'll get that first out. Now looking for the push down into that previous halt price. It's 10.70 in particular. If we can get down in front of that, we'll take about 80 cents off on this trade. If it goes to VWAP, fair enough. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to play inside of that range. The halt price, the top, we shorted off it. Got to have a setup first and then make a trade. It's all well and good to see crazy volume. You want to make sure you see something and then hit it. So as ways I like to play these, if I'm not playing it off of the halt trade, I'm usually waiting for it to retest that range where I know I have an obvious out, and then I have a clear target that I can take towards the downside for that short.
All right, guys, we did get hit. I mean, NVIDIA does go downside there, and it takes out that level. So we actually went back in. I'm going to use 595 as the out. But NASDAQ, like now this is worth it for me. $2 worth of risk now. We back long 597. So now we'll wait to see if it breaks through 595 and then we'll get out of here on that name. But still a positive day for us. But yeah, NVIDIA hurt a little bit because we were dreaming of higher highs. A lot of executions on NVIDIA today, guys. I'm going to try to hold this one, but if we break 595, sometimes you just got to say, you know what, that's it. You know, we're done this trade and we got to move on. So that's what we're going to try to do here with NVDA and just move on from that. But big long here. This will be the last one. I'm hoping I'm still in this when you join us for our show at 3:15 as we're getting ready to wrap up now. Only 15 more minutes left. It's been a monster day for many names here, guys, including Space, including Fisker, NVIDIA. Needless to say, here it comes. We're going to get out of this one. So I guess I won't be in this come the closing show because look at the NASDAQ right now. It's not finding a bottom. I thought sort of when we went to zero there, you know, we dance around and then start to go back upside. But, you know, heading into a Friday, it's not, or heading into a weekend. Today's Friday. Hi, I'm Sean. It's Friday. Let's wait to see here where it goes backside. But we're going to give it to 595. Just a nice even number there. There's options expiration, things like that. So we'll try to hold on to some NVIDIA off of what's been a good day, but needs to get better here. So hopefully NVIDIA can go and we'll put a smile back on our face. I'm smiling anyways, but the streak continues. Let's just keep going long on some of these names, but I'm not sure about crypto, guys. It's failed here. It's failing again, although it just is a nice bounce back. No real levels to look at here. The last time we dropped down off of this earnings, this name coming out, Bitcoin on that drop there with Elon and whatever. We saw some Chinese news there. This is the level 35. We stopped at 35 on the retracement back. So this stop today is at 36.6. We still could go back down to test this 35. So that'd be interesting if that does happen. But just be very, very careful because that's very possible.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think I didn't see anything obvious either to step into, but I'm going to be hunting all afternoon. You won just clean some things up for some stocks that we're watching here. U1, I have my stop on JZXN, so if it breaks the top, I might get some more shares off of 12, but I'm going to be getting out if it breaks at 12 even. U1K just had a halt upside, breaks the top, tried to pre-market this high here at 1035, tries to break it again and fails hard. It is back into VWAP here. If it crushes below 960, I think this one could be done for the rest of the day in terms of marching to the upside. ANVS just had a halt down and is still trying to break that 53 level. I think if it takes it this time, it halted at 55, so it's like a 53 entry and then a 55 out is the way that I would be playing that, guys. So I'm going to get that locked and loaded, but a U1K I'm trying to get almost simultaneously here if it does get below VWAP, which it's trying to do. So a couple of things on the radar. I'm not in either one of them yet, but looking for a breakdown in U1K, and then looking for ANVS to finally take that 53 level. Just to show you JZXN, I keep chewing that one up and trying to spit it out. It does bounce off. I mean, I talked about that halt price at 1070. I'm on the bid at 1080. It bounces off at 1080. It's heading back towards the top. It's not bad for a reload, but I mean, I have 61, sorry. You probably want to get something in the 75 to 80 range closer to the high to make sure you continue to get a better price. If you're going to be averaging in, I'll probably give it one more shot to get in, and not letting it break the top is the way I like to play it.
Okay, Kevin, you want to talk a little bit about Palantir? That's fine. We like Palantir, so let's watch that. Okay, NVIDIA just breaks 95 again, so not again, but for the first time. So we're going to get out of NVIDIA and basically flush ourselves down the toilet on that name, which was a big winner for us. We were really excited when this happened. And right now, though, the NASDAQ, man, I can't just keep catching these falling swords with NVIDIA. We'll wait to see some strength and then find a level to get back in on that one. Okay, we just did take some more shares here in Palantir. So Palantir back. Look, I'm still the same thing, man. Still off the sticky note. We hit Ford on the sticky note. We talked about that all day as well. Ford right there, long off pullbacks. So Palantir right at the bottom. There it is. Yeah, if back to 250. So sorry, $20.50. So I do have a bid down here, 60.65, where it's sort of where we took it the first time. I don't mind if it falls back down to that level. We'll take it. But for right now, we got to be sort of careful with Palantir because it can go down. With the NASDAQ making moves down, we've seen it so much, Kevin, where this just continues to fall, right? So we're going to wait for this to come back down, and then we're going to blast through 2080, hopefully, on the upside. Take this out as well, 2090, and then we'll see. I don't know if we revisit tops. I mean, the NASDAQ, I don't think is going to be going back to the top anytime soon, but we'll wait on that. So I'm still a bull on Palantir. We'll just like it a little bit lower. That's why we took a little bit right here. Average price 97, not great. We may take more in a minute. What's up, Brendan? Money talks, bud.
Hey guys, yeah, we had about 10 minutes to go. We'll wrap things up with a look at currency prices. Hard to avoid that chart. Here we go again. We're right back to this 36.5, 37,000 important level. It is trying to bounce as we speak, but if you go back to a daily chart, you can see that 36 to 37 area coming into play again. Bitcoin now 4.6, Ethereum 8.5, Ripple getting crushed as well, back to just about $1 here for Ripple. A heads up, 4.5-month low otherwise for the US dollar today. The DXY tumbling again. So we had initial moves higher for the Canadian dollar. It did get back above 83, coming back in a little bit right now. Still positive on the day. The euro down 0.4, the British pound as well negative now. It was higher earlier, back to 141.5. Everything else pretty muted. You can see Australia and New Zealand making moves. Downside so far today. Everything else positive though, guys. Back over to you.
And there goes that JZXN, JZ, DMX, and Nas is how I should pronounce it properly. Just say that, and you guys know what I'm talking about. So shout out to you guys for this is Dante Crawford for throwing that one in there. Not a bad way to talk about stock symbols, certainly. So that one continues to run. ANVS is still trying to break this 53. Look, this is a tight range, guys. It's starting to slow down a lot. So once it breaks down, I do like that short trade. You don't want to be forcing too much at this time of day because you are getting down to, as this tries to break down, I want to go back over to U1 to point out the same thing. This is trying to break VWAP as well. So both these running out of steam a little bit. You want to be patient. I think if either one does pop up, I mean, U1 probably, not probably, U1 is certainly the safer trade if you're going to be shorting a pop from this range. It gets back up to 10, 20, 10, 30. You can probably take that to the downside, guys. Is it a guarantee that these are the symbols I'll be looking at 315? I'm going to go with yes, because to be perfectly honest with you, I sort of look at it for that afternoon show, guys, and some of these high flyers, whether they've rolled over or not, The volume was relatively light all morning long, and then some of these high flyers look fantastic. I want to revisit them going into the close. Certainly NVIDIA is going to be in play as well. And the entire tech space with the rollover that you are seeing in the NASDAQ. ANVS just popped in for me there, guys. So going to put that one off. And then 53 is broken. I got what might be the last position for me on the live show. Till the afternoon, I should say.
Yep. So we're still in basically a lot of the same positions that we've been in all day here. We're in NVIDIA, we're Fisker, we're Palantir. Palantir trying to go back up. So a good little bid there at 76. Let's check back in on Ford. No fills yet on Ford, which is a little bit of a kick somewhere not nice, because we've been hitting Ford and we've been loving Ford. Ford was a big trade for me yesterday. We talked about that, some size right now at 85. So looking to break that size and then continue to move. Ford, one of my favorite stocks to trade, as you guys know. We've been absolutely destroying that name, and should have got it again. At least it was on the sticky note. Thank you guys for supporting that. That's been a good one. Ethereum trying to bounce. People asking what's the crypto news. I think you already heard about it. So down to 2,400 basically there for Ethereum. It did dip below, in the very depths of hell, down to 1,800. That may not even be the depths of hell, guys. That just may be a little bump. So we'll wait to see how much longer this can hold up. But right now, Ethereum holding up quite nicely. Ford just took that out, that 85. Should have pounded that one long as well. But there it goes, man. I'm really happy with Ford. Join me, follow on Twitter. I tweeted out my latest buy on Ford. It was 11.31 in this chaos. Couldn't believe off earnings that they missed. They didn't even miss, and they got hit on that. So obviously that's retracing back to the upside. Fisker basically back down to flat right now. So good outs, a couple outs on Fisker today as well. We're holding very, very small. We're done on Fisker, so we're waiting on that one. But, back to downside. Wait to see if it holds 12. We'll be looking at that one as we trade.
I take, again, ANVS, of course. It goes to plan, get 53s. It breaks at 55, so I get out. Take that, again, $2 stop. And then U1's the one that goes. Now, would I trade two at the same time when they're making that move? Probably not, but pick the wrong one, so pie in my face. We'll go with this for take. And I just finished saying that U1 is probably the safer play, and then went over to that ANVS anyways. But U1 with the break, this looks like it's going to be a little bit weak for this stock for the rest of the session. Not nearly as crazy of a parabolic move. And then finally, this is a daily chart now, guys. Now finally holding below that $10 range and looking to press down towards 9. It gets below $9, and then you start thinking about a full retracement on U1, which some of these names have yet to do. I've maybe avoided that NVIDIA a little bit, but I think it's one of those, I pulled my bids on it when we got that story, the news story, of course, that came out of China. It bounces for now off of 94. I'm going to go right back to that 91 bottom. This is going to give you like that pre-split announcement price. I think that's got to be the go zone. Now, obviously, you have to watch out to see how bad the move is to the downside in the NASDAQ. Like if we're cracking some pretty serious support levels, maybe you don't want to be taking it, but it's almost too good to pass up at 590. So be looking at that over lunchtime, not forcing the action, still watching those three heavy movers, two of which are still at the tops or pushing the tops, JZXN and ANVS. For me, both going to be watched for the rest of the day.
So our long right now is 595.40 on NVIDIA. So whatever, $2 in the money. Maybe we have the bottom, maybe we don't, but you can basically count on me to try to hold this at least back above 6. So we'll wait for NVIDIA there. We're in the money, another $2. Every single one of my NVIDIA trades has been in the money quite a bit, yet we find ourselves down on the name because we're holding. Like I said, remember I told you guys that like any other day, we probably would have been getting out of NVIDIA, but we do have those rosy color, what do they call it, rose-colored glasses there, thinking that NVIDIA does have a lot of high side there, but apparently not, especially when the NASDAQ cracks lower and lower and lower. So good news all around today, I feel like. The NASDAQ's not getting hit that bad. Obviously, crypto is going to be a little bit of a problem, but some of the other names are working right now, like DraftKings. Nice to see them holding up a little bit here through 45. So obviously it gets to 46, but hey, the market falls down. I'm just happy that we're still positive, that 1% over there. Coinbase, wow, did it just get pummeled down here, down to 225. I bought yesterday 231, whatever, was nicely in the money, but that is a long-term play, so we're not even worried about it. But Coinbase obviously down here to 224. This is probably, what's its low? I mean, I guess we flushed 207, but we are right there. Yeah, this is make it or break it right now for Coinbase, just for the daily. 224 is that bottom. So it's going to test it and relook at that. So, hey, look, guys, there's only 3 minutes left. It's been a very, very fun show. Oh, PaySafe. Before I go, I can't not talk about this. It's been a couple days since we looked at this name. PaySafe was up nicely today. I was sort of happy about it in the pre-market, as look at that bottom again. PaySafe, $10. Turned over from BFT, my average price. I have to check that for you. I still think it's 12 to 13. And then today we got up as high as 12.50. So watch out for PaySafe, obviously. Big mover downside. You have a 12 resistance there. Something to go long on if you do like PaySafe. Palantir busting higher now as well. So hopefully off that bid, we can get a little higher on PLTR, guys.
And just to come back to one more name with only a couple of minutes to go, there were some earnings that aren't in sexy stocks. And look, John Deere, there's nothing bad about it here. You want something that's looking up. It's up 3%. It's testing through a bit of a break at the high of the day here. Well, maybe it does. At 368. So an upward trend in a non-sexy stock is not a bad place to hide into and look for a bit of momentum as this is trying to recover. They had fantastic earnings as well. But that's a little bit of a John Deere for you. Look, I know we're ending at 11 o'clock. That's new. But one thing that is not new, we always do it, and it's always, makes me hungry, and I guess I'm dressed for this one, actually, now I think about it. Go to Miss V for what national day it is.
Hey guys, thank you for spending this week with us. I wish you a wonderful weekend in advance, and come back here at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time to trade the close together. Happy National Strawberry and Cream Day, everyone.
Okay. So, I like strawberry shortcake in cake format. But yeah, that's a nice, refreshing, dessert on a nice, warm summer day right now. As I look down, 24 degrees Celsius here in balmy Toronto. We're going to hope that the Leafs do well, but missed it out yesterday. Good one. Any comments on, I like strawberry. That looked like a light cream. I don't like heavy cream, but that looked pretty good.
you know what's weird? I'm actually not a fan of whipped cream. So look, the strawberries are fine. I'll go without the cream. But either way, you can't go wrong with that particular fruit because it's absolutely delicious. I'll eat just about anything, but with a treat, it's got to be the ones I really love.
I've never heard of it, but more importantly, Sean, we're going golfing tomorrow. We haven't talked about that at all, which is very, very exciting. So they've lifted our restrictions ever so slightly here. So.
You know what I was thinking about, Brendan? I think we literally have like one of the very first tee times like in all of Ontario. We're going to be going early tomorrow morning, which is fine for me because my kids wake me up. What time do you normally get up on the weekend there, Brendan?
I'm a morning person anyway, so 6-ish, I guess.
6-ish. Okay, so we don't have a problem making this tee time.
No problem.
I'm going to get the clubs out the first time. We're gonna just shine them up and get going. Neil, you have any plans?
It's going to be the same old for me. My daughter is going to wake me up at about 6:30, and then we're probably going to do a lot of practice on her scooter in good weather because that's what she's all about here. So she got the Razor, like I think you suggested that's the best brand. So that's what we got, and she'll be practicing that all weekend long, and I'll be chasing after her.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, my kids, I'm chasing after them 24/7. We go to this amazing scooter park. It's a skateboard park, but they're on their scooters, and it's like, as a parent, I don't even want to watch them. But they're crazy. They're maniacs. Good show. It's 11 o'clock. This is the first time we've shut the show down now. We're going to work on a few things, and we'll be back to you guys at 3:15.
Absolutely. So right down the line for Miss V, for Brendan Wickens, for myself, Neil Roberts, and Sean Katina. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trade TV Live. We'll see you at the close.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.